What's up, bitches?
This is Wrath of Aquarius podcast. We're here to bring our light and open everybody's minds and wake everybody up. The days that we do the podcast is Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And today we have Elizabeth on.
Liz, that's me.
Liz.
I'm here.
Yeah. So pretty much what we're gonna talk about today is consciousness, spirituality, and whatever else we want to talk about.
Whatever we stumble upon.
Yeah, pretty
in
much.
Conversation.
Whatever spirit directs us into. So
we just gonna ramble.
So explain about yourself a little bit.
I'm Liz, and I'm 20, and life has led me down a very spiritual path because I just want to be happy, and this is just where I ended up. And I manifested a dog, you know, and so there's got to be something crazy in this world, how that's possible, you know what I mean?
I witnessed this firsthand.
Yeah,
it was wild.
Last year I literally just was like talking about how I'd have a husky because it was my dream dog, and I was like, I'm gonna have a husky one day. And then all of a sudden, like, I dog sat my friend's dog, and she ended up like a month later getting rid of her, and I was like, don't bring her to a shelter, like I have room to watch her. And then all of a sudden she was like, actually, do you mind if it's a permanent stay? And I was like, hell no, that's my dog now. Like, and ever since, that dog has been an angel in my life. And I would just write it down, like, too, in like a journal. I'd pretend what my life would be like with a dog, because I stumbled across manifestation like a couple months beforehand, and I was just like, there's a 50% chance this works, and there's a 50% chance it doesn't, so might as well. And it worked, so, you know, life's pretty crazy.
Yeah, Lily, manifestation is insane. I recommend, if you want to start manifestation, get a book and pretty much write it down until, like...
Yeah, lots of journaling, and you have to come from a place of, like, gratitude, and you can't lack anything. Like, I manifested basically my apartment also with my niece because she stumbled in while I was being a little witchy doing some tarot cards in my room. And I was like, you know how I got the dog? Alright, what's something that you want? And it's kind of cool because she was like, I want a house with my mom, like, all that stuff. And then I was like, write it down. And she ended up writing it down, and it was like, oh shit. A couple months later, I actually got a house. Like, when she found out that we got this apartment, that was the best part of everything. Like, she just was so like, no way, really? She's like, what? And then, like, she's just like, I didn't think it would work like that. Like, I was like, girl, telling kids that magic is basically real, like, that's ridiculous to me. Like, it's the most beautiful, like, enlightening experience, because they're just like, wow, all right, you want a Corvette? I'll manifest you a Corvette.
Yeah, because they're, like, the purest, pretty much, like, people. Like, they don't, like, have a lot of ego built up in them, so they're just pure,
they just want to manifest and
higher
give
selves
you
and
everything.
their hearts.
Yeah,
literally, they're just like a little battery of just energy to freaking like bring into this world. They're just like, yes, you want this, no hate, no doubt or anything, boom, it right there.
They're so open to the idea of it too, they'll just go along with it, and that's what manifestation really needs. Like, you just need the belief that, like, yeah, I already have it, now just open the door to it and let it come into you, like, into your life. So that's the cool part about it.
Yeah.
Did you manifest anything, Matthew?
Manifest anything? I think my schooling, pretty much, that randomly, like, with my audio engineering school, like, I always wanted to go there to pretty much I don't know, just like hone my skills and like be able to like do everything like the correct way instead of like being on YouTube and just kind of like roughing it out, you know? Because like I need,
like, going actually through the Matrix.
Yeah, like being legit and stuff like that, because
you
like
have to
I need
do the hard work first.
Because I need like, not like structure in a way, but I need someone to like structure it out for me, so like I feel comfortable enough to like, in a way, like, you know what I mean?
It's so important to have foundations and like a structure.
Yeah, like foundation and
organization,
structure, pretty much, like,
like, I was just telling Matt before the podcast that I actually had to take a month off school just for myself, but, like, you know, because remember, like, you could go out of your way and do these things, but, like, there's a certain amount of focus and organization that you need to have, like, physically and mentally and emotionally to be able to learn and absorb and understand everything 100%. You still need to give yourself time to, like, grow yourself and be patient with yourself. So, yeah, I took a month off school because it's, like, you gotta do that every once in a while. But
oh yeah, I remember now. I also manifested a girlfriend. So from back then, and yeah.
Yeah, it's manifestation's crazy. Like, once you put anything down on that piece of paper and you act like it's there, and it's totally possible. It's 100% possible. But there has to be a sort of, like, openness to it to allow the universe to work, and, like, a certain point where you let go and just trust them, and that they know what is best for you and what you want and desire, just to let it come in. So
yeah. Pretty much, like, I try to manifest, like, little things. Like, say, like, if I'm, like, going about my day and I'm like, yo, I really need this to work, and all of a sudden it works out, I'm like, yes, and then it just works out, and I'm like, yes, thank you, angels.
It's the coolest thing, yeah, when you see the, like, little confirmations and the app, like, around that are just reminding you. It's like, oh, don't worry, we're still here with you. Like,
yeah, pretty much like angel numbers. When you see them, like, we usually see them on, like, license plates usually, but, like, you can also see them on, like, buildings and whatnot,
and they have meanings
places.
So if you, like, look it up, like, usually it correlates with your life, like, totally with me. And my uncle, who's my guardian angel, his birthday was August 15th, and I'll see 815 everywhere, and I'm like, you here with me? Yes. And then the craziest thing was I went skydiving last weekend, and on the plane, I actually was, like, praying to Archangel Michael, because I was like, yeah, I need protection. Like, I'm falling out of a plane. Like, what am I doing right now? And my brother was on the plane with me, and his name is Michael, and both of our instructors' names were Michael, and I was just like, what is that crazy coincidence? Like, I was like, this is wild. The universe works in amazingly beautiful ways if you just open your eyes to it. And that's probably the biggest things that go on in my life with what I look for, at least.
I remember one time, before I really got into my spiritual practices, I had...
Don't worry, if you hear, like, farting noises or similar to farting noises, like, it's not me, it's the chair.
Yeah.
I swear, I'm not lying.
She's drinking freaking cherry Coke over here, I'm pretty sure.
It's not. Cherry Coke doesn't make me gassy.
Yeah.
Okay, what are 3 things that you're grateful for today?
Today? Pretty much my freedom, my own willpower, and my penis. No, I'm just kidding. And my
Cut that out.
I'm probably not. But
Respectful.
And pretty much, like, my higher guidance, probably. It's pretty much being able to have something to, like, guide me into, like, a better path, and just constantly having something to, like, affirm, like, reassure me that I'm going into, like, a better future and everything, you know? Like, just being able to, like, actually have, like, a structure and routine that, like, puts me on a good path. Like, being able to, like, get up and meditate, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because, like, meditation calms me the hell down. Because my little Aries ass is pretty aggro sometimes, and I get very, not towards, like, other people, but just, like, flustered and shit in general in life, and then I'm just like, brrr, you know, and then meditation, like, helps me, like, calm down and be able to see.
Y'all are wild.
Yeah, it's
y'all
like,
are a fun bunch, that's for sure.
it's the passion and willpower. It's because our main dominant chakra is the solar plexus, so, like, that's pretty much just, like, where, like, energy is all trapped in. That's, like, our energy source, pretty much. So we're just pure energy and just like crack. So it's like
it's very like you could get lost in the ego in the solar plex because it's all like self-esteem and everything. So it's like the way you present yourself and like the way you feel about yourself and the confidence you have. And that's why if you are overconfident, you would be, you know, egotistical and narcissistic, and you need to find a balance because either you're too insecure or you're too like egotistical.
Yeah, because a lot of not to put any I mean, yeah, I do put a lot of Aries on blast right here, but pretty much if you see an Aries that's like very, very overconfident and stuff like that, it's because they are extremely insecure and they don't want anybody to know about it. And
also just to create
like super aggressive, like they just try to like be on top of everything just so like it's like a control issue.
And also if you don't follow along so much with zodiac signs, like that's for anyone. Like if you follow the chakra system and the earth's vibrations and the pseudoscience of everything, and with your energy points or your chi centers, it's your, you know, your solar plex chakra is a thing, and that could, for anyone, even for my Virgo self, like I do have trouble balancing sometimes my solar plexus chakra. So it's important for everybody maybe to just like focus on themselves and look within their energy systems and focus on what needs to be more balanced and, you know, unblocked, and just to focus on meditating through those because they're very important.
Yeah, pretty much if you're not processing your emotions, you're blocking yourself off.
And something
from
that
a lot of points of yourself.
Yeah, and something that has really become really clear to me recently was if you're in denial or you're lying, and, you know, even if it's just little white lies, like those things block off your throat chakras. And, you know, what if you want to be able to like to communicate things better and, you know, express yourself through singing or music or something like that? Like you're blocking yourself off at that point, and it's kind of like you're not helping yourself, you're actually stalling your process to move you forward in your journey to where you could actually be your fulfilled and like enlightened self. So it's almost like, yeah, definitely focus on this. This could make your life 10 times easier. like
yeah, literally.
Like trust me, like ever since my awakening process, like it has been crazy, like good things, bad things, just total 100% roller coaster. But like overall, like I am so, like the Billie Eilish song, like like I'm in love with my future. Like, you know, like I know where I'm headed, and you all have that like opportunity, and that's something that I just, being that I have this chance to express myself, like I might as well just share that with you guys, because do it.
Yeah, just
follow your heart, be happy. Like,
yeah, literally just keep going with what you think is right for yourself and what you feel is right for yourself, because if you keep going with everybody telling you what to do and what you want and stuff like that, you're not really living your life. It's like you're living another person's life, and you'll never be happy, and you'll never achieve what you actually want to achieve.
let go of like living through somebody else's belief systems, and like it's okay to like stray off the path sometimes and make mistakes and like end up in this position where like you feel so lost, because like at the end of the day you experienced that and you learned something from it, and you know like, okay, this actually only made me like smarter and stronger to move forward in this direction. And like that's what happens here. You fall down sometimes, but like every time you end up getting back up on your feet, like you're gonna be even better than you were before. And that's why it's like, don't be afraid to search all the dark, weird, crazy like parts of yourself, or like even just focus on just stuff that makes you so happy and like all over the place, like, and you lose control, because one day, like once you explore all parts of yourself and accept every part and every version of yourself, like life becomes easier to maintain and balance and control, because you are the expert of yourself. You know yourself better than anybody else. You're the ones that fall asleep with yourselves at night, so you deserve that like responsibility in yourself and like feel free within yourself. I know I'm just rambling now and I'm just going off, but
no,
like,
literally, that's the whole point of this fucking
but yeah,
podcast.
like that's basically like
you're just channeling all the information. It's just
yeah,
all coming out. Your angels are just like, yes, now is the chance.
This was my life lesson this week. This is what happens when you go through crazy Lord Ganesha obstacles.
Yeah, literally.
Om Gam Ganapatiye Nama.
Oh my god, I'm gonna put you nama.
No, like, for real, like,
That's a chant I say every day. Every morning.
I
It's a
was,
good
like, creating a
grounding.
song with it earlier. I was
Yeah.
playing Lord Ganesha.
Yeah, we're pretty big fans of Lord Ganesha. Lord Ganesha is like that Hindu elephant god
Yeah.
that pretty much everybody sees with
He
the broken
basically
tusk.
grabbed me by the trunk and just, like, shoved me into the ground, and then, like, out of my crown just, like, grew a plant. Like, he just had to force me to be grounded this week. Like, he's like,
and you
he's
stay
like,
there.
you couldn't find it yourself, so here.
Literally.
Grow in the damn dirt now. Like, you're a little behind, Liz. Like,
Become your full druid self.
my druid.
Did you see that thing that I sent to you yesterday on Instagram with like that person that drew all like the zodiac sign stuff?
Yeah.
And then the Virgo thing, it was literally a tree. And I was like,
That's
yo, I was like,
me.
that's crazy that we were literally just talking about
That's
that
me.
the other day.
Yeah, no, for real. Like, speaking of druids, so I just think humans are druids. Like, I believe that, like, have you seen, like, those, like, ancient, like, Chinese masters who, like, meditate their whole life and they're, like, freaking 90 still fit, like, and so healthy, and it's kind of like, that's meditation. Like, it just kept them alive. Like, it kept their life source, like, still flamed.
Because breathing is an extremely important thing. It raises your vibration. It also lowers stress levels within your body, and stress is what ultimately kills us at the end of the day.
It really does.
And it really ages you, and the more you meditate and the more you breathe and be able to ground yourself, in the more, the less stress that you'll be in throughout your life.
Yeah, no, and I totally believe that.
And you'll be able to handle situations a lot better because you'll be able to have more grounding
And it's easy to say this, and it's easy to, like, know this information, but it's totally different in, like, actually practicing it out into your lifestyle. And I'm somebody who, I'm breaking a lot of bad habits, and it's kind of like, to break these bad habits, like, you just have to full force, like, just go for it and, like, commit, set the intention, and, like, it's scary, and the first couple of days it's gonna be so uncomfortable, but, like, you know what you're working for, you know where you're headed towards, and that's something that, like, I'm even practicing, and it's just, like, wild spiritual growth and awakening, man. It's a wild ride.
It is, because a lot of people also know what a lot of their flaws are and stuff, but they're always just like, I know what it is, but I don't know how to break out of it. And it's just like, it's
and then they
your
deny it to
subconscious
themselves,
flaws. Yeah.
and then they'll deny it to some people, though. Like, that's the thing. Like, it's
denial is also a form of lying, by the way. It's just manipulating what is around you just to
and it's only
much fit it
blocking
into
you
your
off
own.
more from expressing your true potential when you're not able to express it even to yourself, especially. Like, you won't be able to get there. Like, you're blocking yourself off from really entering a place of peace, and it's almost like you're keeping yourself in this toxic cycle. And it's, why is every, like, couple weeks or every couple months, like, the same pattern is happening over and over again? And I talk to so many people who, like, deal with that, and it's like, look within yourself. What are you doing in your everyday life, like, that's causing this to continuously come back to you? What's keeping that energy fed? Like, because it's only going to get worse and worse and worse. Like, it's so true. And one day, like, they're just going to force you to figure it out. Like, your life is going to put you into a spot where it's like, what are you going to decide now? Like, you know? And you have the ability to change whenever. You could be 30 and have this realization and totally flip your life around. You could be 50 and totally flip your life around. But it's just a matter of, like...
Yeah, you can flip your life around at any point. It's like, yeah, the younger is better, but also, like, sometimes you need to
be patient
go
with
through
yourself.
a bunch of lessons.
Yeah, be patient with yourself. Sometimes you gotta learn the hard way. Like, you know?
Yeah.
It happens. But, like, if you want to learn when you're younger and, like, just try to do this, like, ask yourself now, every single day, like, this is the best time to learn. Like, don't be insecure. Like, this is, like, somebody...
Yeah, it's like, you choose when you want to open yourself up and learn. It's like, I'm just grateful that all of this came into my lap when I'm 20. too.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I started when I was like 21, and I'm 22 now.
It's
and
never too early or it's never too late. That's the best thing.
The main thing is that it's never too late. Like, even when you're like 50 or 60.
I definitely recommend, like, also watching this documentary, Healed. Like, this woman, she got diagnosed with breast cancer, and all of a sudden she just started meditating, eating healthy, like, she just totally transformed her life like that, and she was told, like, she was gonna die, like, soon. And all of a sudden, like, she just flipped her whole life around and her mindset and everything, and it shows how, like, mindfulness and, like, just really, like, taking care of yourselves, like, healed her. Like, she was totally fine after that, and now she's just living, doing her thing, like, without breast cancer. Like, that's fucking nuts. Like, when she was told that she was gonna die. Like...
Yeah, because it's all your mindset, and literally, like, your diet, what you use on your body and everything, and also exercising, like, it helps your body so much.
As I just ate Wendy's. Like, yeah. we all have our moments, but, you know.
Yeah, it's like, it's not gonna fucking, like, it's like,
you have to work towards something.
It's like constantly doing that and being in that cycle will kill you. Like, if you're eating Wendy's every day and stuff like that, it's like Wendy's every once in a while, like, you might feel like shit in that moment, but you're not gonna die. It's like, you're gonna die if you keep eating Wendy's every day and you're not being conscious and, like, eating other shit, you know?
Well, it's like, know what you're doing. Like, you know, at the end of the day, it's kind of like, what are you doing? Like, if you're eating Wendy's today, like, that's not something that's gonna reach your highest potential. That's not gonna be something where it's like you're working towards your best self. Like, you know that, okay, like, this is just me having something for myself. Yeah, it feeds that little thing inside of you that you wanted. But, like, at the end of the day, you reaching your best self and you reaching your highest potential is gonna be the best version of yourself. Like, that's something that you want to strive for every day. Like, work towards something where you're gonna become your best self.
Yeah.
Like, I used to do martial arts, and they would always say, like, they would be like, become your best self. That was the, like, on the t-shirts, that was everything. Like, we had, like, 12 different words, like, loyalty, respect, like, honesty, to remind ourselves, like, this is what we want to strive for. This is where we're headed. This is where every decision I make is going to lead me to. Like, you need to know, like, that's your direction. And that's something that I'm replay in my head over and over again, because thank God for my martial arts. It taught me so much in my focus and my work ethic, and without it I would not be where I'm at today.
Yeah, literally, it teaches you that mental strength and also that physical strength, so you're not always constantly being like, oh, what if all this, like,
and that
it's
you
like
have
the way,
control
like, you
over
carry
your life.
Yeah, it's the way you carry yourself is a lot different, because you know that when shit goes down, you're gonna be able to handle it.
Yeah, and it's like you have
physically or mentally.
You have that control over yourself. You realize, like, okay, when you make a mistake, like, it's on you. Like, it's not on anybody else around you. Like, as much as you want to blame the next person, like, why is this coming into my life, though? Like, that's me. Like, I did that to myself. Like, it's my choice to look at it this way and have this perspective on things, but no, that's not how it is. Like,
yeah, it's like I try to find a silver lining in everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's up to me if I want to think that was a shitty situation or not. Like, it could be me, like, oh, this is a learning lesson. That was my fault. Like, I fucked up. I was a little naive. Or, like, you could be like, well, it's her fault, like, blah, 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 she did this to me and all this stuff, and it's kind of like, yeah, I could blame her and all that stuff, but what is that going to do for me? That's just going to make me more upset and feel like there's nothing that I could do to get out of it, and now I hate people, and there's a separation between all of us, and it's kind of like, we're all people, we all make mistakes, and we all react to things differently, and we all do things differently, and that's why be smart in the decisions you make, and what you do with yourself, and, like, you have that control over your life. Nobody else has that control over you. And don't be so quick with jumping into things and the impulsivity of things. It's just more like, okay, let's be patient and, like, let's make this choice carefully, because things will actually be done better in the long term if you take time with yourself and you're patient and not rushing and you take that second to breathe. That's a big thing that I'm learning right now, so that's why I'm sharing it. Because
Patience.
I'm not perfect, and this is a very present topic for me right now, so I'm a little passionate.
Yeah, literally, patience is completely, like, you need patience, like, especially with me.
It makes life so much easier.
Because patience is also, like,
smart work, not hard work.
Yeah, literally, it's like, a person that also helped me change my perspective on patience is shout out the 21st century mystic, our master.
James, God bless.
Blue. Yeah, James Blue, God bless you. Yeah, pretty much. He taught me that in our lessons that we do, he runs programs and stuff. So if you want to also know more about your spiritual stuff, go and join his classes because they're honestly extremely helpful.
Oh my God, life changing.
Literally life changing. He like.
He's an angel.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty much. He showed me that patience is pretty much just like not reacting to the situation of what's happening. It's not like. It's just like, just chill. Don't react to the situation because, like, if you act out of anger or, like, whatever you're feeling in that moment, like, it could drastically change how
100%
things are happening and not for the best.
No, seriously, and that's a big lesson that a lot of people are here to learn. Like, like, when they experience this anger and they react through that, like, that's something that they're going through and they'll figure out, like, either the hard way or the easy way. So it's, like, up to you, really. Like, okay, are you going to deal with the consequences of your actions for acting in this way? Or are you going to actually, like, fix this and be a little embarrassed at first and be like, wow, like, yeah, I'm still, like, young and I'm still learning because I'm human and this is why I thought this way, but actually I could change my belief system overall and, like, go about it this way next time instead, and write it down in your book, manifest your reactions and ask, like, for help because, like, why not? Like, what's gonna hurt? Like, if anything, you're just reminding yourself that, like, yeah, okay, this is how I'm gonna react when this situation happens or when I feel this.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I also learned that how you react to somebody in a situation, you're matching their vibration and their energy. So if you're pretty much, say if you're at a higher vibration than somebody and someone comes up to you and with anger and at a lower vibration, if you choose to react with anger, you're lowering your vibration to their level and you could just drop drastically and it could take a very long time for you to get back at that other vibration that you were at before this.
And the reason why you're reacting is because you care.
How am I going to react?
The reason why you're reacting in the first place is because you care. Because you are a person and you actually, like, care about the situation that you're upset about, which is a place from your heart, from love. So stop, like, reacting through hate because you actually have, like, a heart reason and a passionate reason on why you're doing that. And if you communicate it effectively, then you'll actually get your point across. Like, trust me, I've been there in many situations where I react with anger, but it's my defense mechanism because I'm scared. Because, trust me, the 24 hours before I was confronted with this, I was stressing about it in my head. So once it actually, like, confronted me to my face, like, it's almost like, holy shit, now I'm dealing with it. Oh my God, I've been thinking about this all day. This was the moment that I feared. Like, all day I was waiting for this moment when in reality, like, I could have just been like, okay, this might happen and I might have to handle this situation, but this is how I'm going to handle it this time, and let me listen to the other person's perspective. Maybe I could learn to be better and, like, not stress out about it 24/7. Maybe they could actually help me, like, but there you have to come from a place of, like, openness so you could receive it and listen to the other person's, like, point of view. And it's okay if you disagree. It really is. But it's just something where it's like, all right, we're just two different people, and what may work for you might not work for me, and because we're different. Like, okay, thank you for telling me what works for you, but I'm also a different person, so this might work better for me. I will take what you said into consideration, but right now I'm going to do this my way. And it is totally, that's how you all...
And your way is always the best way. Like, anybody can tell you what to do in a situation, and it's most likely...
That was the
Not
chair.
right.
That was the chair. That was the chair.
Just farting up the storm over here, guys.
It's the chair, I swear.
Never get it.
What is it, like I fart sparkles or something like that? I don't know.
The pixie life.
Pixie dust.
Yeah. I just fart pixie dust all over the place. That's pretty funny. Maybe, like,
That's what a shooting star is, actually. It's just a pixie farting across... I'm a child.
That'd be fucking crazy, actually.
My inner child is woke now.
Yeah. Should we talk about inner child shit too? And pretty much, I don't know.
Oh yeah, if you have your inner child is so important. So important. It's having fun. Just being able to let go and laugh a little and, like, not take life too seriously. Like, oh my God.
Being in the now.
It's so easy just to, like, let life take you, like, and just, like, ragdoll and just shake you around, and, like, you're just like, wow, my life sucks. Like, I have to work 24/7, 9-to-5 job, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's not fun anymore. And, like, trust me, I've been there. It's not fun. But if you have an inner child, you're the person in the office making the best out of it. You're the one, like, laughing and not giving a shit, like, if you hate people. Like, I get it, you hate people. Like, people aren't fun. Like, I get it. Sometimes people suck. But, like, they probably don't like you too. Like, okay? Like, but maybe...
It's like there's a reason why you don't like people and why people treat you the way that you don't like. It's because of the energy that you're putting off. If you're in that lower vibration and you're, like, all, like... all like a grouch, it's like, obviously, people are going to feel that off of you. And why would they want to treat you with happiness when you're already, like, pretty much giving off this shitty vibe?
Yeah.
It's like people match
Give him a chance.
the vibe. Yeah.
Give him a chance. Make a little cheesy joke. Who cares? Like, you know, like...
Yes, if anything, it'll, like, crack their shell open a little bit, and they'll be like, whoa, wait, I didn't even expect that.
Maybe you'll make a friend. Maybe you'll have a good time. Maybe you'll finally get to go home and be like, wow, I had a good day at work today. Like, what? Like, you know, like, that's your perspective. Like, you know, and it's like your inner child...
matters.
Your inner child is, like, forgiving and, like, accepting of people, and you're young, and it's just, like, you're free, and it's like, who cares? Like, people are people. Like, we're all different. We all make mistakes. Like, I may not like what you're doing, but I'll just go off and do my own thing because I'm in my inner child, and I'm just gonna feed my, like, happiness and my soul. And if you want to do your thing, so what? I'll meet up with you later. Like, you know, like, just you have fun in yourself and dance around and have fun. Like, I was one of those people for a while where also, like, I would just, at school dances, I would sit on the side. It's like, no, get up on the dance floor and dance and be free. Who gives a crap?
Yeah, me too. I'd always kind of be like at like parties and stuff.
Who
I would always
gives
like
a
not,
crap
like,
what
not
you
get
look
up.
like?
I would be like, oh, nope. I was just so self-conscious and insecure.
And then you go home and you regret the fact that you didn't dance to that one song that you love dancing to in the shower and in your bedroom. And, like,
and you're like, what
to.
if I did that? How
and I could have had a bunch
be?
of people to experience that with, and it's kind of like, yeah, because there's people out there who don't care, and you should be one of those carefree people as well, because you're gonna fulfill your life and you're gonna dance and be free and all this stuff. And it's like, I don't care. Like, I'm not gonna tell you to live your life how you want to live it, but that was just me. Like, I'm having more fun on the dance floor. Like, you know, like, letting my inner child be free. Just, like, I don't care if I'm a goofball or I'm a fool or if I see something a little weird. Like, it's just whatever.
Yeah, and those people who judge you are the ones that are insecure about themselves.
Sometimes
and can't
it's yourself
be
too.
Themselves, you know?
Yourself judges you the most. You're the one creating the scenarios in your head. You're the one like, oh, what if this person does this, or what if this person says this, or like, what if so and so's watching? And,
yeah, it's like that's your fear getting
weird?
In the way. Fear is false
did they
evidence
say
appearing
anything?
real.
Yeah, it's like, did they actually say something?
Yeah, it's like nothing actually happened. It's like, so what the fuck are you stressing about? It's like, you don't know what's actually going to happen if you go and do that. It's like, that's just your ego just pretty much just projecting itself.
And even if, so
life.
what?
Yeah.
Even if they did say something, they're just sad they couldn't do it themselves.
Yeah.
Like,
they're just dumb bitches.
They're just scared that they couldn't do it themselves. And you know what? Like, maybe if you step out of your comfort zone, they'll actually, like, feel comfortable enough to reach out. Like, oh, she did this, or
yeah,
he
that's
did
true.
this.
You can be the leader.
And then we could all rise together, and we could all be a group and make the best out of this generation. Like, you know, like, we're the ones coming up next. We're the ones that are going to create our futures. Like, and trust me, like, I said it before, and so did Billie Eilish. I love my future, and you should all love your future, too. And we could work together to make this bitch, like, lit. You know, like, let's fucking do this. Let's change the world. Like, let's fix nature. Let's, like, help Mother Nature revive herself. Like, let's come together with love and, like, communication and openness, and not so much hate and separation. Like, I get it, you don't like the next guy, he doesn't like you too, but we love our future, and we want our future to be the best. So maybe if we could come together and find a common goal and a common ground, that's something that we could actually help our our kids and the future generations after us, like, we're only evolving more and more as time goes on, and, like, this is the huge message that's coming up now. Like, we're trying to, with all the movements and everything, like, I respect your message. I respect everything that, I respect your openness and your strength in coming forward and us having a discussion now. But let's meet in the middle with love and not hate and separation. All the violence is so sad. All the, like, people getting hurt and everybody being sick and dying, and it's almost like we feel that suffering of the world and we're just retaliating and things are falling apart, and it's like now it's time where we could build things now because things are falling apart. Let's rise like a phoenix.
There's a chink in the armor and we gotta like...
Let's rise like a phoenix.
Yeah.
Let's take control of this generation and move towards like creation and abundance and like, you know, building our future forward and becoming the ones who like architect and sculpt things. And it's so funny because my niece even said that she wants to be like a carpenter and like an architect and build things, and it's like, yes, that's our generation. Like, that's what we're supposed to be doing. Literally. Like, we're the ones that are now ready to create like what's to come, and that's beautiful.
We're here to build a new world.
That's why everybody's waking up, though, because we're like, okay, we have a responsibility now. Like, you know, like, we have things to do. Like,
yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, we gotta fix all the fucking shit that the previous generations
the people
fucked up.
that I, like, you know, that was my fault. Like, to judge people. Like, to be like, oh, like, I don't think they'll figure it out. Like, that's not right of me, but guess what? Like, now people have proved me wrong, where, like, they're waking up, and I'm like, wow, like, it's really just our generation. Like, everybody has the ability to open up and, like, grow and, like, create so much success and, like, build from, like, such low foundations up and, like, end up at a place of such full abundance and, like, creation. And it's like, everybody could do it. Everybody. And that's the most amazing thing, because it's like, let's do this together, guys. Like, let's fucking teamwork this shit. Like, you know, like, fuck, like, big business and, like, you know, like, all this shit. Like, let's small business and independent and, like, grow into our own, like, happiness and create art and stuff that we could actually, like, help others with.
Yeah.
I want to, like, garden and farm and all that shit.
Yeah, literally, that's what I'm trying to do in the backyard and everything. I want so many plants.
Like, so we know that there's no pesticides that are going on to our fruits and stuff like that. Like, we don't know what we're eating. We don't know, like, everything like that. I haven't had the chance to, like, really dive into my vegan, like, ship, so I can't really tell anybody much about that. There's many people who are actually living that lifestyle for years who could tell you 10 times more about veganism.
Yeah, pretty much just eating. It's like a good thing that
it's an energy transfer.
Yeah, literally a good thing that I learned was that, like, when you eat things that are natural, they have enzymes that literally give you life and break down things in your body. And if you eat things that are, like, man-made and don't come naturally, it steals from the healthy cells and everything in your body.
You're just gonna be more tired.
It's just literally things that are not natural kill you, pretty much, because they don't have those natural
sugars and all those things that are gonna help build your muscles and, you know, like, fuel you, like, to...
Yeah, even Bob Marley said that he's like, Earth put the medicine in the food, pretty much.
It is, and it's like when you also, like, when you're eating something that has been killed, like, violently, and that animal experienced torture right before you ate it, like...
It's gonna get trapped in the blood because water...
your muscles contract and everything, so the animal, when it dies, was in stress. So the body, like, is dead within how it was when it died. So it's all stressed, and the muscles are a certain way, and the blood was in, like, survival mode and oxygen and everything. So that affects the way the meat tastes. And
yeah, because the water carries memory, and blood is water. So if you were in fear when you died, it's gonna get trapped in the blood.
So now
then you're eating the blood, and now you're also carrying that energy of
the stress and the fear and the torture, and it's almost like, was that bad meat that I had? Why did I, like, you know, like, it's like, why is my stomach hurting? Like, and it's like, listen to your body, like, it's telling you, like, something's up, like.
Yeah, it's like, that's why you shouldn't get meat and stuff from, like, supermarkets and everything, because it's mass produced. Those are the ones that come from those factories that you see all over PETA?
Yeah.
Yeah, literally, like when you see all those like cows getting like slaughtered in those factories,
Trust me,
that's
I
where
love
that
bacon.
meat.
I love bacon, and I love my burgers, and I
Yeah,
love
it's
my
like,
chicken
but you should
cutlets.
be getting it from a butcher where it's
But
more
that's 'cause I'm
trusted
used
and
to
that
it.
people actually go out. Like everybody, like I personally don't see anything wrong with going out yourself and hunting the animal, because then it's like a one-on-one challenge, and you're literally it's an
There's nothing
honor.
wrong with that.
There's honor in that,
And
as
that's
long
almost
as you're
like-
not just like senselessly going out and just like fucking like
You know,
shooting it with a shotgun and shit. Like I'd rather go out and buy and get my own bow, and then challenging that animal. And also, one animal gives you half a year's worth of food, of meat. So the fact that we're killing all of these animals senselessly, like millions and millions for so much, like is just stupid, because we're just throwing out most of it anyway, and we're also wasting so much water to produce this meat. So it's like you can go out, kill a deer, and then you could feed your family for half a year.
You know, the Native Americans, they killed out of respect. Like,
Yeah.
they would literally pray over the dead animal, and
then they would
eat
use
it.
every single thing
and they
on
would be
the
like,
animal and not waste
Thank you
it.
for giving me and my family and my tribe, like, this food and to energize us, and like they would pray to it and everything. But
Yeah, literally every time that before I eat my food, I always pray and thank the universe and the animal for giving me that food, because
it's like you're keeping
need to
me
honor it.
alive,
Yeah.
but you sacrificed yourself so I could survive and like I could live. And like if you think about it, the keto diet and everything like that, it goes through the fact of like you're eating all the natural like foods and everything. I think it was like no carbs. I'm not completely sure, but it was something that I definitely was interested in, because you don't get that hungry feeling. You're not like, after a couple hours, you're not craving it. And that's how people used to be, like, when you were eating all these natural foods and everything, hunting, it would take you a day and a half to end up eating again. Like, you would have one meal a day, and it's like, but you wouldn't end up being hungry that whole time up to it. You would still have enough energy to fight for your food. It was just, now we're so used to eating all these sugars that barely actually feed us and energize us that we're wanting more. It's making, like you said, it's depleting us, so we're actually needing more energy, and it's like, that's why obesity is such a problem. That's why all these things, it's because you're feeding that energy, and it's like
you're putting a bunch of crap in your body, and also that's gonna
yeah.
make you feel like shit all the time too. So
yeah,
like
that's,
literally like changing your diet and just changing your lifestyle, like it helps your whole life overall, like by 100%.
Yeah, it's something that definitely takes time to get used to, and like a good plan and a good structure and organization. But you know, if it takes you a little bit to come up with the way that you're gonna do it, and you need to wean into it, like, do it that way. Be patient with yourself, but you know that you're working towards the best version of yourself, and that it's leading to something better for your future. Because we used to only as humans live till like 30 years old. Now you're seeing some of us reach 100. It's because these people are working and taking care of themselves, and they're like focusing on themselves and keeping that energy alive, which is so important. Keep your heart alive and your life alive, and like your body
Keep
starts
your stress down.
It starts crushing your body like at a certain age, and it's like it doesn't have to, but that's just because things start to catch up.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe like now, today, like tomorrow, like as soon as you can, start making these little improvements to your life.
Yeah, because like people want to like smoke and drink all day, and they're like, oh, I don't feel it right now, like I'm young and all this shit. But then just wait till you hit 30, bud. Your body is gonna fucking shit itself.
But like
you're gonna be hating your life a lot.
Yeah, the little steps that you take towards your future to bettering this, they'll catch up too. So it just depends on what energy you're putting into your body. Like, no matter good, bad, like, it's still gonna, like, just catch up to you. Like, either way. Like, things come full circle all the time. Like, that's why it's like, okay, what decision is this decision that I make gonna come around and haunt me?
Yeah. It's like you already know internally all the stuff, and then like everybody's like, oh, I didn't know, and then it's just like, but you knew in that moment deep down, and you just said fuck it, and you decided not to care. But now later you're gonna be paying the price.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like all of us have an internal indicator of what's good and what's bad. And then people just saying, oh, I didn't know and stuff, that's just your own excuse to excuse yourself from what you did?
Accidents don't happen. Everything has a reason.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for everything. And even if you don't think that happened for a reason, you could sit and meditate on it and you'll get the answer of when that happened. Like, it's the craziest thing. Like, I was even explaining to Matt yesterday, like, little white lies and being in denial and everything. Like, I remember being back when I was a child and, like, when I first did it. And it's like, oh, I didn't remember that until actually I, like, sat here and confronted myself with it. Like, you know, like, and also even bad habits. I used to have the bad habit of biting my nails all the time as a kid. And I would never be able to break it. And it's kind of like, no matter how many times my mom was like, get your hands out of your mouth. It was just like, I still would have that habit, but I didn't take the time to really self-control it. Like, I didn't think anything of it. So I was like, whatever, it doesn't matter to me. Like, my nails I don't give a shit. Now I have...
Shoves my fucking fist into my...
Now I have, like, fake nails, so I don't do that. Like, I did something to avoid that shit, but, like, it's also like, okay, well, I have that bad habit and I wasn't able to break it, but now I have 5 other different bad habits that I can't break because when I was younger and I didn't figure out how to break this one bad habit and I just put things in the way of it to, like, avoid it, that's not a good tactic. Like, you know, like, it's like, okay, now let's actually find a way to break my habit. Let's distract myself, or, like, let's, like, choose something completely different or put my energy into something else. And I'm telling you guys my experiences because I know you all have your experiences. Like, we could all relate and, like, we could kind of, like, be like, yeah, like, we both did this and did this. And it's like, the more we share and communicate and, like, are open with each other and have less to hide, the more that we could actually, like, wow, okay, now I'm fully enlightened and now I'm healing myself and I'm healed and I'm growing and now I'm actually able to spread this with other people. And, like, that's why it's like, don't fear, like, or be ashamed of yourself. Like, be open to share your experiences because one person could really hear this and learn from it. And, like, that's how I learn from other people. Like, I hear their experiences and I'm like, oh shit, like, that's fucking crazy. I'd rather hear somebody's, like, story rather than just straight facts. Like, sometimes, like,
yeah, because, like, you could use the main idea of their story and then apply it to your own life. That's why I usually like to say use your truth to activate others' truth.
Exactly, and that's why I'm being completely, like, thank you for letting me be truthful with you guys and, like, open and honest and sharing my story. Like, I'm grateful that I have this opportunity because, you know, I don't get to share it a lot, but, like, when I do, like, I want to be able to just, like, be completely, like, shameless. Like, I don't really say all this stuff, like, all the time to just anybody. Like, mostly just my spiritual friends hear a bunch of this stuff, but, like, now's the time. Like, let's fucking make a move towards our future. Like, let's do it. Like, all love and all acceptance and no judgment anywhere. Like, that's just what I'm trying to spread.
Yeah, it's like, why judge?
But yeah, so that's that. Oh yeah, so that's exactly the plan. Back to the whole, like, when you're in, like, pain and stuff, like, how that everything catches up to you when you're older. That's a good point that I love to make to people. Like, I hate to be, like, a know-it-all sometimes, but, like, when you have,
the Virgo's, like, coming in.
My Virgo. When you have, like, you know, things that bother you, like you have back pain or you have knee pain or you have foot pain or you have, they're usually tied to, like, more of a, like, spiritual meaning rather than actually, like,
yeah, it's
oh,
like,
I was
what
physically
emotion
hurt.
are you pretty much blocking off from yourself?
Yeah, like, how crazy. So last year I was literally, like, not grounded, and a lot of my life I was, like, being drawn to, okay, find your foundations and be grounded. And I ended up, like, being offered a random job at, like, a foot doctor. Like,
yeah, it's just
what is
like...
the irony of that? Like, you know, it's so crazy. And it's like, before then, I, like, was very hurt and, like, I was not expressing myself well because I was extremely hurt and, like, I was blocking off my heart chakra. And I ended up in a bakery, and it's like, all right, Liz, let's get sweet again. Like, find your sweetness. Like, you know, find your heart. Like, it's just weird. Like, oh, gosh, the synchronicities are amazing.
Yeah, literally, everything is crazy as hell. And then also, like, with me, before I had a lot of people pleasing tendencies, and then I thought about it, and I was a server at that time, and I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. It's like I'm always serving people and like trying to like please them and all this stuff, but
Wow.
and I'm not really like going into what I need for myself. So then I fucking quit that job because fuck that place.
Yeah.
Everybody there knows what happened.
Making moves towards yourself.
Yeah. I went more into my own goals and what I want for myself instead of doing what everybody else is asking of me, and pretty much just draining my energies. And
It's a scary transition. It's
it's like
definitely
letting go and trusting the universe is pretty much the best thing that could happen.
Exactly, and it's like you could just wean off into it too. Like that's what I'm in the process of.
Yeah, you don't have to like completely just like quit your job here and there. It's
that's
like,
just Matt and his Aries self. That's just his Aries
me
energy.
Being insane and impulsive, but
That's his like all his Aries in his chart, and then the one Aquarius.
yeah, it's just like
his Aquarius knows that it'll work, and then the Aries is just like, let's do it.
He's just like, yeah, let's go. And it's like I'm my own like hype man, and I'm just like hype, and my whole chart is literally just Aries and Aquarius, nothing else besides my one Jupiter in Pisces. That's it. And then my Pluto's in Sag, and I'm also a Gemini rising.
If you are like me, you have to like read what these things mean, and you don't understand right away, so that's okay. You're not alone. Like I look these things up when I'm in the middle of just like confronting them, so I don't know them off the top of my head. What my Pluto's in this and like all that stuff. Like I have my chart on my phone. If you don't have CoStar, I definitely recommend. And those notifications in the day, they come at the perfect time, and they come right when you need to see them, and it's just like wow.
So
why is that
weird.
so on point with my life? Like, and you sometimes are in denial of it, and you'll be like, wait, like, how is this, like, correlate with my life? But then, like, 5 minutes later, like, a thing will happen, and you'll be like, oh, okay, CoStar was right.
Shit.
CoStar was right.
Yeah, and also a lot of, like, I recommend a lot of people who are pretty much lost to kind of, like, look up your chart and pretty much, like, your natal chart or birth chart or anything. Because, like, what Will told me, actually, was that, an old saying was, when you're lost, just look towards the stars. And that, to me, was pretty much just, like, not, like, literally, like, looking up and looking at the stars. It's kind of, like, looking at your star chart and pretty much how the stars, explain you.
Yeah.
You know?
Because we're all made of star
you can kind of get, like,
stuff.
a structure off of it. Like, it's not, like, 100% like, oh my god, like, it's because, like, I'm in this and, it's just, like, it's kind of, like, a good thing to reference off of, so
because
like,
we're
your
all made of star
tendencies.
stuff. We're just one of them. And it's kind of like, alright, like, the time you were born probably has a meaning.
We all pretty much...
Everything has a reason.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about it, everything
Before this
has a
life,
symbol.
we chose when we wanted to come
That's
to
the
this
craziest
life and
thing.
what for.
Everything's a sign. Like, it's wild. And, exactly what you're saying. We did come into this world, like, with a reason. And it's, like, the more that I think about it, like, I'll remember being a kid, like, looking in the mirror, like, knowing exactly, like, what my life is going to be like. Like, it was, like, I can't remember now, but I remember being, as a kid...
Oh, you poor soul. It's just, like, looking in the mirror, you're just like, oh, shit.
Yeah, I'd, like,
What
look
did
in
I
the
do
mirror
to
and I'd
myself?
start crying. I'm like, it's so beautiful, but it's going to be painful at first. Like, like...
It's just like, gosh.
It's just like, it's gonna be so scary, but I got it. Like, no, like, seriously though, I remember, like, I have glimpses of the feeling when I was a kid, and it was like, I'm safe and I know what journey I'm gonna go on and everything's gonna be okay. But it's like the older you get, like, you kind of forget that comfortable feeling of, like, the trusting of it. But it's like, that's what you have to gain back, like, that trusting feeling of the universe. Like, okay, like, it's hard right now, but be patient. Like, I was always around, like, those impatient kids when I was a kid, and I would always be sitting there, like, I think, like, it's not that long, like, I think it's okay. Like, I would just, like, be in my own Betsy world in my head, and then all of a sudden, so my name is Liz, but my nickname is Betsy, and that everybody used to say that when I used to disassociate from myself and just stare into space, that I was in Betsy world. So that was why the natural instinctive for me was to say that. But yeah, so I was in my own little world, and I just kind of would sit there, and then things, like, I finally, like, at the doctor's office, I'd be called in, or I would end up being tagged for, like, this thing in gym, or something stupid like that, like, where I had to be patient for a second. But, like, I was around everybody who was like, rush, 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 come on, like, this is so annoying, I'm so bored, I'm so this, like, and it's almost like, okay, like, as I got older, I lost that patience. I started becoming, like, oh, run, 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 run. You eat a burrito.
Okay, so
Go off, Matthew, go off.
a thing that I realize is that a thing that I really like to do is that I like to understand the people around me at the moment, what is their zodiac sign, because in that moment I pretty much be like, okay, so I'm at this moment, a lot of Capricorns are coming into my life. Their main dominant chakra is the root chakra. So I'm usually like, oh, this probably means that in this moment I need to focus on grounding myself, and pretty much, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, if I'm surrounded by a bunch of Leos, I really need to work on my solar plexus and my self-identity, my egotism, my, like, insecurities and whatnot.
Yeah.
So pretty much, like, so...
That's a good thing that I needed to be reminded. Like, I don't usually like to, like, think about the zodiac signs sometimes. Like, I think it's fun, but I don't like to, like, obsess over it. Just because...
I don't. It's just pretty much like a thing in the back of my mind.
Yeah,
that
like,
I
it's
kinda,
good
like,
to have
think
in the
of.
back of your mind because it can remind you of those things, and that's why I said it was good to remind me of that, because I could get a little, like, oh, I don't want to, like, put somebody in this box, in a sense, like, all because the zodiac sign.
No, yeah, but like, the thing is that it's just like, okay, watch out, they might have these tendencies, you know, like...
Yeah, or, like, you know, if you're thinking of a way to, like, kind of, like, ground yourself, like, recently I've been thinking about, like, trying to be a little bit smarter with my finances. I went to a Capricorn. Like, like, you know, like, and then it's like, oh, I need to have a little bit more, like, acceptance and fun and, like, let my inner child be loose and, like, free. I go to my Sag friends. Like, you know, like, it's like...
Yeah, it's because the different elements that they're pretty much ruled by.
Because they're fiery, and it's like, okay, I need a little bit more of that spunk right now. Like, let's go there. Or it's like, if I need a little bit more flow state and peace, let's go to an air sign. Like, you know.
Yeah, literally.
I understand what you're saying. That's why it's cool. Like, it's like, oh, awesome.
Yeah, I'll give a rundown of each zodiac sign and what their chakra thing is, just so people know. So, like, pretty much Aries, solar plexus, Taurus, root chakra, Cancer. No, Gemini comes after Taurus. Gemini is the throat chakra. Then Cancer is the sacral chakra. Then Leo, another solar plexus. Virgo, throat chakra. Libra, heart chakra. Scorpio is third eye. Sagittarius, sacral chakra. Capricorn, root chakra. Aquarius, heart chakra, and Pisces is the crown chakra.
Mm-hmm.
So, go about that however you want.
It's helpful for sure, because it was really funny because I didn't know that, and then it's like I'd be sitting here like, oh, like, okay, like, I'm in a little bit of denial, I was telling a little bit some, like, white lies, alright. That's my throat chakra, and I'm a Virgo. Didn't even put 2 and 2 together. And then it's like, oh, wow, okay, now let me balance this out, because that's going to affect the things that I communicate. And it's like, why? Oh, I'm going to stress. Oh, what am I going to say? I'm going to stress about what am I going to say. It's like, why am I worried about that? Because I'm a Virgo. So it's like, oh, maybe once you think about it, like, things weirdly tie together. It's like, oh, shit, like, all right. I didn't even think of that. But that's so funny.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
Very weirdly tied.
Yeah, like I was recently surrounded by a bunch of Scorpios, and I'm like, ah, shit. But then I was just like, okay, that means that I really need to, like, open up my third eye chakra pretty much more. But,
the third eye is crazy. Let's talk about that for a moment.
A lot of the third eye, a lot of people don't understand, is, like, it's also the balance of the masculine and the feminine, of your divine masculine and feminine sides. And that balancing that out helps you understand a lot and see through a lot of bullshit that goes on in life.
The third eye is miraculous, and I don't know what I would stumble across, because it was like when I was still in high school, I stumbled across the third eye, and I was like always into the Vampire Diaries and like very into Harry Potter and very into like the witchy stuff and supernatural things, and very into watching Ouija board videos and even messing around with them sometimes. And you know, you got to be very careful when you do those things, but I had just a I was very drawn towards it. And why? Now I understand. Because, you know, you find this whole spiritual world that like you're closed off to, but once you open that third eye of yours, it's like, yeah, this shit is around you, and these stories are symbols of things that you can use to help educate yourself and look around. And it's like, wow, like I didn't know like half these things existed, but until I finally opened my third eye and like broke from like that just strict matrix world and finally started like, shout out to Infinite Waters.
Yo, that man's a beast.
Ralph Smart. He got me very into, you know, releasing my false belief systems and like creating new ones and being very open just and accepting to many things. And that's when like life really started spiraling into a spiritual path, and like it feels like it's falling apart, but it's good because then like your matrix world is falling apart around you, and that's what you want. Like it's gonna feel chaotic at first, but like once you're all through that, like it's gonna be like, okay, like life's nothing, like I'm at a peaceful state, I know what I'm here for, I know what my purpose is, I know what brings me abundance and success and happiness. And it's just like your third eye is a huge part of that, being able to see, you know.
Yeah, I would also correlate that to a Kundalini experience as well.
Oh, I for sure, like...
Yeah, it's like when you have a Kundalini experience and you pretty much open up, like, your chakra system, it's like everything around you starts collapsing, but it's pretty much just breaking down everything that does not serve you, and it seems like your life's falling apart, but it's really just falling apart to bring in everything that is supposed to be working for you.
Yeah, that's why don't be so like quick to judge like the bad things that happen around you. Like they could be opening up.
It's a tower moment.
Yeah, it could be opening up literally just a whole new doorway for you, something even better to come in.
Yeah, literally things come out of your life for better to come in. It's like you might lose your friends, but that's just because it's your life getting rid of that negative old energy to bring in a better positive energy that is for you.
Yeah, so that's why it's like, don't be so hard to judge yourself or like judge the things around you. Like just almost be like, okay, what could actually come from this, and like what could benefit me? Like if you end up getting fired from a job, maybe it's a blessing. Like, you know, like, yeah,
it's like maybe that job wasn't working out for you anymore, and now that you need to learn new lessons,
you can find something that serves you more.
Yeah, you can go into a better job.
Yeah, it's like, that's why it's amazing. It's just kind of like, okay, like these things come and go, and it's like if somebody pisses you off, like, you know, like, okay, what'd they do that pissed me off? Like, okay, they entered my life so I could actually learn this, so like...
Yeah, it's like triggering you so you understand what you need to work on.
Yeah, because like, trust me, when you're in that whole pain body aspect of it all, like, you could get very lost in it.
Yeah.
But if you could like take a second to yourself just to be like, okay, like this is pissing me off, let me like actually look at this like in a good way, like use your third eye and just have more of like a soul like perspective on it, and like an outer third party like perspective on it, because then you could actually be like, what would I tell my friend if she was in this position, or if he was in this position? Like,
it's like fine balance.
Yeah, because you are usually better at telling your friends like advice rather than like yourself sometimes. Like it's like, oh, like, but if my friend was going through this, I'd know exactly how to handle this, and you probably do. But like literally doing it yourself is actually like, okay, now I have to figure out how I'm going to do this myself. Let's figure out, but you need to be able to do that in that moment of being triggered. Like, because once you reach that trigger point, like, don't let it take control of you. Now you have to actually control it. And it's like, okay, where is this coming from? Why am I reacting like this? Like, what's triggering me? Don't be ashamed, like, you're still learning. Like, just move forward from it, and you know now that you were able to catch yourself this time. Now you could even do it more next time. And it's like, it's a process. So don't get too hard on yourself and give up right away, because trust me, like, there's so many better things that are going to come.
Exactly.
Preaching away over here.
Gotta bring out the big boys.
The big boys.
My fucking amethyst.
So, what's your craziest spiritual experience, Matthew?
My craziest
Spiritual experience so far? Because I bet you'll have more, but still.
I would pretty much say how I started getting into my spiritual path. So pretty much like when I was a kid, I was very in tune with like all like the other side and like the spiritual realm and all that stuff. But then when I got to 7 and then like my parents pretty much divorced, like that got shut off because I immediately just became very disconnected with my child self and then like my body and whatnot. And then I eventually got reconnected into it. Like I hit a super low point. I think I was in my 20. Yeah, I was like 20 or something like that. And then I met my friend Teddy, and then she like I was starting to get into a bunch of like spiritual paths and shit like that, but then she like really helped me like solidify the path that I like need to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's also when she introduced me to James. And then literally right after I met Teddy, James like moved back to the island, and then we all started like hanging out and stuff, and like I got like this crazy like catch up. It's like, yo, you missed years worth of like practices and everything that you were supposed to be getting into. So it's just like, here's 2 people that could really help boost your knowledge and everything to go around, and you know, and pretty much like I learned
once you
so
start
much
going
shit.
Into that path, it's crazy how like mentors will start to pop up.
Yeah, it was wild. And I was like, whoa. I was like, literally, it's like that whole Doctor Strange moment when like he goes to the temple and it's like, life is not how you think it is, and then like they press his third eye and he just flies astrally out of his body.
It's
and
crazy,
shit like that.
bro.
Because that's how I felt. I was like in there, and then they were just like, boing! And I was like, Zzzz.
That's how I felt in that one meditation James ran that one day. When I opened the door, like literally was like, psh, I like flew back. Oh my god.
All the light comes in.
It really did though. That's what I totally think. Like it's so funny how similar that is.
Like, yeah, but like this whole entire path like saved my ass because I have a lot of self-destructive tendencies, and that really helped me balance out myself and be able to pretty much get my shit together and get put on a good path.
That's so cool.
And also be able to help others around me from
'cause
my own experiences.
Everybody has
to, like, help them.
self-destructive tendencies. Everybody is.
No, but mine is like, you know.
Everybody has their things, but that's the thing. That's why it's like we could all relate. We're all humans, and we all have like, you know, the down moments, and we all have the up moments. But we're all equal. So it's like amazing to be like, okay, like you have these tendencies, but somebody also has them as well. That's why you could help that person, or like they could help you, and it's like it just depends on like, you know, what aspect of their life they're at and like of their spiritual awakening and stuff like that. But we could all learn from each other. It's the craziest thing because one person's gonna think of something that you didn't, or you're gonna think of something that that person didn't. But we could all learn from each other because we all are human and we all make mistakes, and it's okay that. But we have to still give people the chance to come back from that.
Yeah.
Like, because if you are just going to ultimately shut that person out and, like, hate on them and, like, be like, you did this and cancel culture their ass, like, that doesn't give them the ability to and the chance to come back even better. Like, you don't...
Yeah, they're going to cut off all supplies for them to be able to grow.
They probably feel so bad themselves that they fucked up, but, like, you hating on them is only going to create more pain in them. And it's like, then they're going to end up worse because it's like, if they're not strong enough to pull themselves out, they're just going to give up. And it's like, don't force people to give up. Like,
this is why cancel culture is bad, guys. It doesn't give a chance for people to fucking redeem themselves. Media is all
like just a scam at the end of the day, and it's all an illusion because it's like, why are we showing everybody like the things that are wrong with us? Like, you know, like, okay, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Yes, I get it. Bring awareness to things.
Yeah, it's like, but are you really showing people what the right thing is instead of just being? No. It's like constantly. It's just like negative. It's just like negative splurging on everybody. It's like it's not constructive criticism. It's just like you're just saying like, oh, you're a shitty person. But it's like, okay, but like the correct way is like, oh, you're a shitty person, but you could do this to help correct yourself.
Exactly.
And that's what should be happening instead of canceling the people off and be like, oh, you're shitty, you don't have any chance of redemption, go die in a corner over there. Like, what we should really be doing is like, no, you're a shitty person, you fucked up in this moment, and you're only a shitty person in this moment, but this is how we can help you, and this is how we can all go into a better direction this way.
This is why I think it's ridiculous, because it's almost like exactly what you said. You're literally just, you fucking just said it. It's constructive criticism. You can't, like, just expect somebody to, you can't expect to beat somebody to the ground and, like, shove them in the dirt, like, drown their face in it and, like, fucking, like, step on their jaw and expect them to be, like...
want to be able to pick themselves back up.
Yeah, it's like, no, you just fucking made them even worse than what they were before. Like, meanwhile, like, maybe they were there because they were already struggling in the first place. Like, you know, like, we have the ability to be like, it's okay, you messed up, and, like, I get it, like, but you got this. Like, maybe these are some things that you could do. Or, like, you know, like, if you ever need, like, any help, come to me for questions. Like, you know, because most of the time, if you're judging that person, like, are at a better point, I guess, than they are. So don't be egotistical and be like, oh, you're blah, blah, blah. It's just that you're at more of, like, a stable point in your life where you could actually provide somebody, like, with wisdom, and you could do it. So don't use it all for yourself and, like, as an egotistical thing. Like, give some of that knowledge to other people. Like, you could really help somebody. It's
yeah, it's like those people that, like, come from the dirt and get a shit ton of money, and then they look down at everybody else, and then they don't want to help them and shit like that. They're like, oh, fucking do it yourself. It's like, no, you're supposed to.
Because you didn't help me when I was down on the ground. You didn't do this when I was on the ground. Like, I made it all here by myself. Like, oh my god, that's fucking amazing. Write a book and share how you did it, because many people are in the position that you once were in.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like...
It's like, it's your job to turn around, and also, it's like, not like fully just like, do everything for them. It's like, share what you said, that knowledge and how you got there, so people can use your truth to activate their own truth and do it their own way.
And don't shit on them because they didn't do it, like, right away, like, the way that you wanted, or, like, you know, like, or the way that you expected of it. One, you shouldn't be judging somebody based off of, like, your own things that you have for yourself, like, your own, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
But, like, if you have a way that can make life easier for another person, share it. Like, what's the point? Like, you know, having all this amazing knowledge and just benefiting it on your own. Like, we're not in a competition here. Like, we're not trying to one-up each other and that anymore. Like, we see how that fucking destroyed our society now. Like, you know, like, having one person above the other and all that stuff. It's like, what's the point? Like, okay, you're at a good point in your life. There's so many people at the bottom. Like, what are you doing with all this money? You're going to spin class, and you're gonna go, like, drink, like, a Baja Blast or something. Like, I don't know what you're gonna do. Like, but you're gonna go to these crazy, like, parties, and, like, that's gonna cost, like, fucking, like, thousands of dollars just to even go. And then it's like, why don't you just help somebody with that money? Like, be like, oh, like, clearly you're struggling with finances and investing, and this is your lifestyle right now. Like, if you need a little help, like, I could provide, like, life coaching, or, like, you know, like, things like that. Like, it's an amazing thing to be able to give to somebody who's
because
beloved.
Also, yeah, like, literally, like, giving back to your community also gives back to you as well, because
you're as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah, literally.
And our weakest links are freaking people who don't have a home and don't have a way to provide for themselves, and they're literally selling themselves short for just to make something of themselves, or to be able to provide for their family. And it's kind of like, who cares, like, where, like, you know, like, you being able to help and give and, like, provide a love and an unconditional love in helping somebody else, that's gonna make us stronger, because they're our weakest link right now. And it's like, what if we all got to the point where we all were at a good point?
Yeah, because a lot of people, like, look down on those people, and they're just like, oh, you're at the bottom, so you have no potential. It's like, but okay, but what if you gave back to that person,
they have the
help
most
them
potential.
Get to their most potential, and they could build something so fucking amazing that also helps you too. So helping your community also indirectly helps you as well.
Yes, exactly, 100%. And that's why giving and helping people just find light and awaken them, like, is so important. This unconditional love and not separating ourselves anymore.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Life's nuts.
People are wild. Too many people are in survival.
Oh, yeah, and it's so normal in our society right now. There's so much going on that it's frightening. But we're all finally gaining that strength to be able to speak up. I've noticed, like, we don't care what the consequences are, but that's why it's all about how we communicate now. It's not about speaking up anymore. We were all about, like, for the past 4 years, like, speak up, don't be afraid to speak up. Now everybody's speaking up, screaming, yelling, like, fighting, like, all this stuff.
Yeah,
It's like, okay, now next step. So we learned how to speak up. Now the next step is learning how to communicate effectively.
Yeah.
Like...
It's like we're in the age of Aquarius. We're in the age of knowledge. We're trying to
we can learn from each other.
Get everybody else smarter and just pretty much bring everybody up to speed of what everything is like going on. It's like we have all this technology, all this knowledge at the fingertips. There's no excuse to be ignorant anymore. It's like everybody needs to catch up and be smarter so we can all collectively move towards a goal and not constantly being like unbalanced and
not
everything.
even just being smarter, just awakening.
Yeah.
You know, like everybody's already there. Everybody's already at a point where they could grow and excel and teach others and give to others and spread so much unconditional love and light. It's just a matter of, like, you know, awakening and finding that within themselves. We've been so burned out by society and what's going on and hate and fear and being in survival that now it's just like, okay, like, that's why we were forced to quarantine. Like, we were forced to focus on ourselves and love ourselves and, like, just, like, kind of be within and just understand our foundations and our family and, like, you know, we were all going through all different things during that time. Like, all eye-opening things. Some people had great experiences, some others horrible, but it's like these are all like...
Yeah, like a lot of people were
lessons.
Homeless for a bit during Corona and
How
stuff like that. It's like I was homeless
could you
for a little bit
imagine
during
being
Corona.
homeless during this time? Like...
Yeah, it's like I was constantly moving back and forth during all that shit. It's like that was insane. Like a couple of my other friends were also in the same predicament, and it was just a wild experience.
And that's why
pretty much just like,
it's so hard. It's so hard to just find that balance, and some people are in need and others were just thriving off unemployment while others were working their asses off and not making even as nearly as much.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, that might come to haunt us in taxes next year, and
we're gonna be paying this off for the rest of our lives. I hope everybody understands that.
But like if we are, that's not fair, because we didn't create Corona. Why are we? And we didn't ask to be in lockdown. You know?
But did we really create Corona? That's the main question. It's like...
I know sure as hell I didn't.
Yeah, like we did. The governments probably did.
No, but like, let's be honest though, that's what I mean. Like, why are we gonna have to pay them back for a disease that we didn't even plan for? Like, half of us were just like being thrown around
it's not like
this.
it's not like the Great Depression when everybody got credit cards and we're all just like being dumb and being like, oh yeah, I'll just pay this back later, and then all of a sudden like everybody's just paying it back later. Nobody has the money to pay it back, and then we all just collapsed.
But why
it was like that. Like this happened.
All because they had to print all this extra money, and they were helping us out during a time that was totally unprepared. Everybody was unprepared for, and nobody planned for, and nobody even, like, we didn't do this. Are we the ones that have to owe them taxes? Like, why are we gonna be the ones that have to pay back? Like, what did we do that we owe them shit? Like, no, like, and that is something that I hope we do fight for in a very that we could communicate effectively if this happens. But
I don't think the government's gonna listen. They're gonna be like, yo, you guys gotta pay us back and shit like that. But we're gonna be like, no, fuck you, fight me for it,
power
bitch.
Is
and
in
then
numbers.
We're gonna have another fucking civil war.
The power is in numbers, and if we do, that is one ridiculous. And I don't care. I know that like my family would be the first to be like, well, it's life, Elizabeth, and you have to deal with it, and we just have to go along with it. No, we don't.
Literally, I don't have to deal with shit. It's like they're gonna have to fucking deal with me, motherfucker. Like,
I didn't create Corona.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like,
it's like, because that's how the government keeps on with their bullshit. It's like that whole mantra. It's
but
like,
that is actual
that's
bullshit.
life. That's life. You just gotta deal with it.
That's
It's like,
actual
no, I
bullshit.
fucking don't.
And
it's like, I have the power
you don't-
to take life into my own hands
Yes.
and make it what I want to. And you can eat my fucking ass if you don't agree with that shit.
Because at the end of the day, what do we owe them for Corona? We don't owe them anything. Like, half of us were struggling, having the worst times of our lives because of Corona. And it's like, now I have to pay you an extra how much money in taxes because you decided to print all this extra money when that was your decision, and we just kind of got
It's
thrown
like,
along
yeah,
with
we
it 'cause
never
we're in the
even
country.
voted on, like, to do that. at
No,
all.
because they were in survival mode and they just did it. But why do we have to pay for that? We do not.
Yeah.
And so if they do try to do that, like I've been hearing from a bunch of other people, so I'm not sure how true this is, but this is my defense against it either way. It's like, that is not something that I'm going to go along with, and that is something that I don't agree with, and that is something that I will fight. And if that's why I'm going to fight and communicate effectively, but that's something that I will not agree with.
Yeah. Eat my ass, America.
No, that's where I think 2020 is going to provide a lot of change in our government. I think there's going to be a huge shift.
Our government's too big. It's literally it's going too much into everybody's lives, too much into business.
There's going to be a huge shift, and that's why there's no way that's going to happen, or like that any of us are going to allow that to happen. Like, there's going to be some of those people who are just going to be submissive to it and like be like, I have to go along with it. But there's only so much room a jail could hold. I mean, so if we're a team, you know, and all of this, and we fucking just like, what are they gonna do?
It's like what Will said. He's like, if we all stormed Area 51, they can't kill us all because that would just make them look bad. It's like if we all rise up and go against the fucking government.
We're like, we want answers.
But that's just like
Where's
with anything though.
At?
It's like with anything though. It's like if we all rose up and just like kind of like swarm the government, they can't kill us all.
Because we need a common ground.
And they're not going to.
We need something that we're working for. Like, you know, like something that we could all like join in together and say like, this is what America's run by. We need like a force of it all, or like something just to keep us in check. Because yeah, there's gonna be people who are just gonna like, what's that book, like something with, there was a bunch of kids on an island and like they didn't have any parental authority, so then like half of them went crazy and half of them were trying to keep the peace. I can't remember the book. It's like Lord of the Flies or something like that.
Oh, I never read that book, but I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, so like it's like they had no parental authority, so half of them went wild, and then and they went through a power struggle, and there was a lot of violence and, you know, deaths and stuff. That's why we totally could fight against something to create something better, but it's almost like the reason why we still follow the government is because we still need a structure, and it's like we still need something that this is wrong, this is right.
It's like we need a common structure between people, not an external force telling us what to do and what we
because it's only providing more chaos, honestly.
Yeah, it's like because like the government is giving us structure that only benefits them. It's not benefiting us. It's like they claim that it's benefiting us, but it's really just a whole manipulated spin to pretty much just benefit them. We're just going crazy. It's because they just keep getting richer, we just keep getting poorer, and then now we're just gonna.
Well, that's why we're all, like, going crazy, and, like, half of us are, like, you know, Trump's a great... I'm not going to say my political views, I'm just explaining this part. Yeah. Like, you know, Trump's a great...
Oh, shit.
He's a businessman. So it's kind of like a lot of people are supporting him because they think that he could help our financial issues. And it's like,
I hope that he is the new reincarnation of J.P. Morgan for this country's economy.
Like, and trust me, he's a human. He's not said the greatest things. And honestly, like, I could totally vouch with that. But yes, I could also agree that he's a great businessman, and the reason why he is in the position he is today is because of that. So he rose up to that position. Now he is our president, and we're leading towards another, like, you know, election, whatever that's going to lead to. But a big reason is because America is in a big financial struggle. So a lot of people are supporting him because of the fact that they think that he could provide us with a financial stability. Why do we need this structure and all this stuff and money and all this? It's like so fucking complex. And it's like, I know we can't do anything about this. This has been years and years and years of a structure that we've totally built and lived in, but now it's falling apart. And there's a total imbalance here, and it's something that is we're all stuck in. And it's kind of like, yeah, 2020 is going to be one of those years where I think there's going to be a huge shift, and I am so, like, I don't know where it's headed. I really don't. And that's something that a lot of people are fearing, and it's providing a crazy, like, okay, what are we going to do? And a lot of people are awakening now, because when you're put into this, oh my God, what's the future? I don't know what the future holds. You start asking questions, and, you know, now the universe is starting to provide a lot of answers for a lot of people and clarity. And that's why it's almost like, yeah, I guess we'll just see where we end up. But there's so many possibilities. But right now we're in a very chaotic state, and I think it is just because of how, like, all over the place this structure is, and what's going on, and how dirty some parts of it are. Like,
yeah, like literally what I think happened was that I think that Trump went into office, and he's just like, okay, let's fix this debt. And then he realized the reason why we are in so much debt is because we let other countries produce our shit, and then pretty much all of our money is going into these other countries.
Mm-hmm.
So then he saw that China was the main leech that was, like, literally sucking everything out of our country. So then what he did was raise all the fucking, like, tariffs and shit like that, and then pretty much just said, get the fuck out. And then what happened was that I think that they got pissed off, and then they released a coronavirus, and that's what all this thing was, to say, don't fuck with China. But then we're just like, we will fuck with you, you know? And then I feel like that it's going to pretty much...
Because there was a bunch of those books where the
now we're
psychics
not,
were predicting.
Yeah, because now we're not fucking with China and stuff like that. It's like,
But
literally the
that's what I
reason why
mean.
we're in
Why
so
so
much
much
debt is
hate?
because we are not producing enough stuff
Why
within
so
our
much
own
hate?
country.
Why so much, like, we were working together.
We have no revenue.
we were trying to work together. We were trying to, you know, like, all this stuff. Let's continue to try to maintain a peace. Like, the more we fight, the more violence, the more deaths, the more... And I know it's, like, war, and it's fucking inevitable, and everybody's...
It's the other countries' governments that are the problem. It's because, like, things with, like, Russia and China, they're all, like, communists. They don't care about their people and whatever. They don't care about anything else other than themselves. They're still in that ego survival mindset. I
personally haven't done enough research to have, like, an opinion on this. That's why I don't really talk about my political parties, because right now I don't like to focus on it. That was just my personal overview of what I think could happen or what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily blame any countries or say anything, and I think that's like why are we getting all up in each other's business? Why are we like doing all this shit? We should just fucking maintain the peace, still just travel to each other, visit places. I understand that some governments,
it's like we should all just pull out of each other, focus on our own fucking countries.
If some governments want to be private, then they're more than happy, like, other countries to be more private, and like we just have no access. But like honestly, like all this war and all this fighting and all to a problem that's been reoccurring and cycling over the years. Why is there all this pain? Why is there all this violence? Why is there all this fighting for all these years? Clearly, like, okay, we had all these wars that led to change, right? All this time. Like, okay, without this war, we wouldn't have gotten this. Without this war, we wouldn't have gotten this.
Yeah, it's like there needs to be conflict in order
Yes,
to
but
grow.
that's why now it's like, no, 2020, clear vision, clarity. Where is the open communication? Where is the fact that we could just meet face to face and have a conversation? Why are we being so immature? Like, we have the lives of many in our hands, and you're gonna just throw it out there for the sacrifice of the country, and because of our country. That's egotistical. Why you're gonna throw people who are in the army with lives that should be lived to their fullest potential. And I mean, great respect for the people who serve. Really, like, that's a whole sacrifice in itself that is very difficult for, like, many, and they are left with many scars from it. But that's what I mean. You're scarring people, and they have families, and they have kids, and wives, and husbands, and, you know...
Yeah, they're fighting all these wars that literally have nothing...
We're cycling. We're going through it again. What was the... Okay, 1920s. Now, back in 2020, we're living similar shit. What's the fucking point? Where are we going? Okay, we're back here. at a point that happened many years ago. That
because we didn't break out of this cycle and learn from that
we
mistake.
didn't learn from it, and it's like we're just falling down the same pattern, and it's like, okay, there's got to be another way, like, and why are we still handling this so immaturely? Like, did you read the history books? Like,
it's like,
you know,
no,
like,
it's like if you don't
that clearly
read history,
didn't work
you're
for
doomed
the
to
last
repeat it.
generation, so let's try a different tactic maybe this time around. Let's maybe, instead of trying to fight each other, let's, like, what is your main goal that maybe we could work together? Like, I want this. Be fucking open. Like, yeah, you can't trust people for jack shit. I'll be honest. You can't. But there is at least a point where you know that, like, you were still trying for the best. Like, you know, that you were leading towards something that you thought would be. You have to be smart about it, of course. But that's why you have to be smart. Like, you know, like, some people are not going to be. It's the same thing. The whole society, the government, it's all the same as just speaking to an individual person. It's all the same communication tactics. We're so bad at communicating that we're literally just circling. Oh my god, all these fucking circles. Like, it's exhausting. And we want better. We don't want to have to work 9-to-5 jobs anymore. Trust me, who wants to do that?
Yeah, literally nobody. That's so draining.
Like,
it's literally draining your life force, and that's also why that we don't live as long as we do.
And it's okay to work. Like, if you love being hands-on, building a house, like,
as long as it's fulfilling your purpose, your own personal purpose. But a lot of people are forced into 9-to-5 jobs that are bullshit towards them, and they don't want to do those things. It's like you should be.
Yeah, and you
doing
could get
what
in
you want to be
trouble
doing.
now. It's like you could get in trouble if you have, like, a business and you're doing, like, side work, like, you know, like, let's say, like, you're doing like a haircut and you're a hairdresser. For you to do it in your home, like, there's certain things that you have to do it without getting in trouble. And it's like, why? Like, this is an art that I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, if this person is trusting me to do this, like, why do I have to go through you and go through all these things?
Exactly,
to be able
that's
to
the
do this?
whole issue right now, because that's why I said the government has too much of itself into everything else.
Meanwhile, they're so old. Like, all the stuff that I'm learning that I need to pass for my state board test.
Yeah, it's like all this
outdated.
old. Yeah, it's all this old outdated shit. Yeah.
And it's like, no, this isn't what it is today. Like, this is so different, and so I have to learn both ways.
Yeah, it's like we don't revise our laws at all, and that's also why there's a lot of corruption, is because all these laws that are still in place that we don't revise and throw out over time, that all these fucking lawyers can go back and be like, oh, there's a loophole because back in 1890 this happened and it still didn't get thrown out now, so we could still technically do that and go and fuck over this person. But it's like, if we revised our laws every now and then and threw out all the dumb bullshit to keep it up with the times and keep it more condensed, then there would be less corruption in the system and shit like that.
It's exhausting at the end of the day. It's just because it's too much work that doesn't have to be done. Like, it really is. Like, you don't have to do it this way. Like, why are you exhausting yourself? Like, why are you...
Yeah, we need efficiency.
Because the system makes it harder for us to really find just the point
and
of
it's
it
like,
all and
okay,
fix it.
if that person doesn't have that structure and that person decides to go into... Yeah, it's like, okay, say they wanted to start their salon business, and then the government didn't have structure in that and stuff like that, and the person goes into their salon and whatnot, and then since they didn't have that structure, and they just give them a bad haircut, they're just like, oh, fuck you, I'm not going to go there anymore, and they tell everybody else to not go to that person, and then that person's business tanks. It's like, we don't need the government to be like, oh, what if the person doesn't, like... It's like, yeah, it's up to the people to decide whether or not where they want to fucking...
end up.
Yeah.
It's their own personal work ethic, and
it's
that's
like,
literally
that's
what
the
it
beauty
is.
of capitalism, motherfucker.
But that's why it's almost, it's just like, we'll figure out something better, but that's why I wanted to make it clear in just a podcast, because it's like, yeah, we should think about it, because we are the future, and we have the ability to change, like, what's to come, and it's like,
it's like money's a tool, not an end goal, and you can use it to...
It's a tool, 100%. It's literally just a fuel of energy.
Yeah.
And that's why also, if you're blocked off, you could literally be, like, causing yourself dead. Like, literally.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow, interesting. Like, but also, if you're fulfilled in your heart and your soul, like, it's just gonna pay you back because you're doing...
Yeah, money is gratitude papers. People don't understand.
Shout out to James.
Yeah, shout out to James. Literally, if you are doing stuff that you love and you're really good at it and you keep pushing forward into that, the universe is going to reward you. You will get the amount of money that you deserve. Mm-hmm. It's like, money is gratitude papers, and that's why they're green, because it's the heart chakra, and The heart chakra is filled with love. If you're doing something that you love, more love will bring back to you. You put love into the universe, and you get love back.
Everybody just
that love
wants
back
acceptance.
Is that fucking green motherfucker.
Everybody just wants acceptance and to just love the life that they're in and to live it. And, like, the reason why people are angry is just because they're a little stuck right now. And it's kind of like...
Yeah, it's like that's where our compassion comes in. And to be
that's
like...
where us giving...
Okay, I understand. It's like, instead of, like, if someone's angry... Instead of reacting angry back,
put
it's like
yourself in their
understand.
shoes.
Yeah, it's like be compassionate. Put yourself in their shoes. Understand why they're angry, so you can help them not be angry. So we can all move forward.
The reason they're angry is because they don't feel understood. They feel like they need to just beg and like plea and just scream for them to be heard. And it's like maybe if I scream a little louder, like you'll hear me this time. Maybe like and it's like no, like. We hear you and we understand where you're coming from and all this stuff, and it's like you meet them in the middle, and then it's almost like, oh wow, like they're just coming from a place of hurt and they just need a little help right now. And it's like, oh, I was in that position a couple months ago, like I understand, like if I was, like I know what it feels like. Let's give them what I wish I was given during my hard time, like like this could help this person. And like that's something that you'll even, you won't even notice, but it that also catches up to you, that kindness that you put out into the world. Like, it'll repay you because you're being grateful that, like, another person's existing and that you could help them and, like, everything like that, and that you had the experience and the knowledge that you have now to be able to share it. Because everybody has it. Like I said, it's just the fact of applying it to your life. Like, it's easier said than done, but, the more we're here for each other, the more we could help each other when we're at our low points, because we're going to have them. We're human.
Yeah.
And if you don't have anybody, that's okay. Like, you have yourself, your book, like...
yourself, book, YouTube.
Your faith, like, whatever you believe in, like, like, just ask whatever you believe in for help, like, even if it's just a tree, like, like, trees, yeah, believe in trees, like,
The trees
if you
have
believe
knowledge.
in the sky, if you believe in the moon, if you believe in God, if you believe in Ganesha, if you believe in angels, like, if you believe in guides, or just the stars, like, or just the bed you live in, like, like, if you believe even in yourself, like, like, if you, anything that you believe in, just, you focus on that. And some people don't believe in anything, and I mean, that's okay, but, like, you gotta have something that you're working towards, or a goal, or you're just gonna...
Yeah. Those people who believe in nothing, I just see as, like, little lost people who
They're
are just
lost.
off their path. It's like, I don't know.
But that's where it's like
but those,
you know
like, people
that you
who don't
exist.
believe in anything, it's like, are you really, like, thriving in life? Can you really ask yourself that?
And if you are, good for you. But also, like, if you're not, then ask yourself, like, you know that you exist. You know that you're here. You know that, like, you have dreams. And you might not be able to see it right now, but, like, you believe in yourself. Like, the fact that you made it this far already, going through just all the shit that you already went through, it's like, okay, I got through that, so I believe that I could get through any other thing that brings me down. Like, I got through the dark part once before.
Yeah, and also...
No matter how dark it was, and how much you were crawling, and how fucking crazy what made you, and, like, how, like... beyond yourself you felt. Like, you're alive, you're still, pinch yourself, you're still there. Like, you fucking fall off a building, but then, like, you have a broken leg and, like, a broken arm, and, like, like, you're bedridden for the next couple months. You have a broken leg and a broken arm that hurts, right? That pain still reminds you that you're alive. Like, like, you're human, like, at the end of the day, like, so that's something to believe in. Like, the fact that we even exist is wild.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so wild, because, like...
that we have consciousnesses.
I'm here thinking because, like, everything's a frequency.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you think of life as just a song, and if you believe in nothing, you can believe in the universe. And what the universe really is uni, one, and verse is like a small little paragraph. It's like we're all one verse in the big grand scheme of life, which is a big song. So it's like,
oh, that's cool.
We're all little verses within one big song.
And the song is called Earth.
Yeah, the song is called Earth. And the frequency is 432.
432
hertz.
Wasn't
But,
James also saying or something, or Chloe, about like 501 hertz or something like that?
528.
Oh, so the higher you go, like the higher your frequency. Yeah.
Yeah, each frequency means a different thing, pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty cool to learn to and get into. Wow. Yeah, I remember back about the education. I know we're jumping all over the place, but still. So when I was in high school, they were doing like the school systems, and I like took the old math, but then the new math system that they put in called Common Core. So like basically like I was doing two different sorts of maths, and the teachers were whole shifted too and involved in it, and I didn't like that because it's like I learned that the teachers were forced to teach the same thing, and I wanted to learn specifically what the teacher wanted to teach me.
Yeah.
Like within what their viewpoints of, like, let's say algebra was, but I had to learn what the state wanted me to learn and what my grade required, and I get that, but that it didn't leave any like freedom for the teachers to have fun.
Yeah, there's no like philosophical room.
No, I had to do the same sort of structure, organized math for like the next 4 years.
Yeah, that's how they know that they're really just trying to make cookie cutter people.
But that's where it was weird to me, because one, everybody's like, when am I gonna need
When am I actually gonna learn something?
Well,
I don't know, when the state decides to decides to say.
When am I gonna use y equals mx plus b, like, in real life? Like, that's a good point. Like, you know, like, when am I gonna use this? Like, two, yeah, I think the teacher should have more of a free range of all this stuff, because instead of teaching us y equals mx plus b in school, can you teach us financing?
Yeah, like, the thing is that I actually took a financing class and how to balance a checkbook and how to do all that.
But you had to go out of your way.
But the thing, it was that it was considered the quote-unquote stupid people math. So when you don't fit into those quote-unquote higher consciousness math, they're like, oh, you're too stupid, so let's teach you how life is going to be outside of school. It's like, but you should have been teaching us that anyway, you dumb fucks. It's It's so stupid. It's like, what?
No, I don't get that, and that's honestly something that pisses me off, because it's like, no, that's actually something that we need to know, like financing and, you know, how to invest and, like, only keep our money growing, and we should learn that in math, because it's the math that we use every day.
Yeah, it's like they spread misinformation, so when you get out of school, you're just shit, so everybody else can profit and get over you.
Literally, the next 4 years after you graduate high school are mostly just you trying to gain, like, a foundation on things.
Yeah, it's like after high school, you're just trying to unlearn all that shit so you could just fucking...
And then reteach yourself.
And reteach yourself on,
life.
And
it's stupid, because you should be learning this stuff in school.
Yeah, because then you're just wasting time at that point.
But that's why I didn't care in high school. Like, I just was so carefree and just did my own thing, because I knew it was shit. Like,
I just took it as a socializing lesson of, like, how people are in life.
That's how most people do take it. They're just trying to fit in, or they're trying to do... just find themselves, or, like, you know, figure out what they're going to do for the rest of their life, because what they're learning right now, it clearly isn't benefiting them, and they're like, I don't even know where I'm headed, because all they care about is the future, which you're not living in the present moment. Like, if I was 16 learning about how to finance and everything, and we all did, like, you know, then we wouldn't be broke. Like, you know, like, one person wouldn't be higher than the other, because
people need to know how to budget their money.
That's why everything right now is leading us towards work ethic, because it's like, okay, yeah, now we're starting to realize that the people who are most, like, successful are the people that are pushing to figure out, like, what they're doing with their life and how to kind of keep this money going and growing and everything. And some people fall behind, and that's why it's, like, so important for us to be like, when you see those people that fall behind, don't judge them, don't hate on them, help lift them up. Like,
it's like, give them the information of what you know to help them out.
Trust me, you could hear some bullshit about
it's
people.
Like, you don't need to give them money.
You can hear rumors and reputations of people. You could hear the bullshit people will spread, and it's kind of like, don't listen to that. Like, don't judge a book by its cover. Like, meet this individual person. You could, like, if you don't feel comfortable, like, you could keep, like, a face on, but, like, still help them, like, still show them kindness. Like, it was so sad for me. Like, I work in a medical assistant place, and, like, there's this guy who clearly, like, he's not fully mentally there. Like, he's a little special. And he's the nicest person that you'll ever meet. Like, he'll just conversate with you forever, and, like, he'll just say some crazy funny stuff, and, like, you know, it could be a very bright light in your day, but, like, he comes in every week, and there's these women at my job who, like, will judge him.
You just snicker in the corner and shit. It's just like, shut up.
They'll judge him and say that he's annoying, and, like, and I'm like, he clearly, like, has, like, he's not.
It's like he can't help it. It's like what the fuck?
He can't, but he'll go to Dunkin' Donuts every day, and he'll offer to get us something, and, like, that's nice. He's clearly a good person, and it's like...
It's like people try to shit on the nice people to bring them down to their level. It's like because they can't reach that high level, so they want everybody else around to bring them down to their level so they feel like they're at the same...
They're easy targets because they'll allow the light people will allow their quirkiness out, and they're gonna just be themselves, and, like, have no care, and it's almost like those are the people that we should look up to more than, like, hate on. And it's like, if somebody's more, like, you know, like, about themselves, and, like, you know, like, oh, I do this, and, like, I do this, and I could do this, like, almost like, it's good that they're proud of themselves, and it's good that they have a good self-esteem.
Yeah, it's because the people who judge those types of people are the ones who are jealous because they cannot be their true authentic selves because they're too insecure to be their true authentic selves.
Exactly.
So they have to shit on those other people and bring them down so they feel safe.
So what? Like, be that... I would rather...
And that's what the light workers need to understand.
I would
is that
rather
the people who
stress,
do that are the ones that you should not be listening to.
Yeah, no, 100%.
So just keep shining.
Because those are the energy vampires. They're trying to suck the life out of it. And, like, there's been times when, trust me, you'll be out with a person, you'll hang out with a person, and it's like, why are the next 4 days my life falling apart? Meanwhile, I just had a great night that one night.
Yeah.
And it's like, who are you hanging out with? What were
Yeah, it's
you
like,
around?
do you feel shitty after you hang out with people? Because that's usually an indicator that they're not really
Like,
the types of people that you should be
it'll show in
hanging
your
out
physical, too. Like, something at work will just go wrong, or, like, something, like, on the road will go wrong, or, like, with your car, and it's like, why is this going on? Like, you know, like, and it's like, oh, I had a great night that one night, but I was hanging around with, like,
so-and-so, and then...
And, like, a person I didn't know, and maybe that person you didn't know, like, you kind of felt, like, a little, like, icky around, but you were just kind of blowing it off because you were out having a good time with your other friends, and it's just kind of, like, but that one person, like, the whole time was, like, judging you, but you knew that, and it's kind of, like, I know they were judging me because I was having a good time, and, like, they just were in their own little headspace. But at the end of the day, like, they were sucking all your energy out because now you were worried about, like, oh, this person's looking at me, this person... They were invading your energy. They were invading your space.
Yeah, literally, if I'm in a group like that, I'm like I literally walk away from those people. Like, I'll literally, like, be in that whole group.
It's crazy
and
how
I'll just walk off
it.
with my friends, and then, like, I'll just kind of, like, just be like...
Isn't it crazy how you feel
Put
it,
'em
though?
away,
Like,
yeah.
you could feel it, and
It's like, listen to your intuition.
I think you and John were talking about that, too, the other podcast, like, where your intuition, like, how you'll know, like... Yeah, it's definitely, like... Once you're growing up and you're around it all the time, you kind of get used to it, but once you focus on it again more now, it's like, you can see it clearly, and you'll start to feel, like, how you are around certain people, and it's like, oh, wow, like, that does actually happen. Like, I had a great, like, time, like, couple weekends ago, and all of a sudden, like, the next, like, week and a half, my life, like, went downhill. And I was like, I just had, like, the best time, though. Why is my life, like, going downhill? I opened myself up to too many energies and, like, didn't protect myself, like, beforehand, or, like, clear the energy off of myself right away. Like, I literally just kind of, like, oh, I had a good time, like, blah, blah, blah. But why now is my boss giving me an issue? Why now is, like, my car having problems? Like, or why did I get into a little fender bender? Or, like, you know, why is my energy starting to feel a little wacky? Like, why am I so emotional now? And it's like you start to focus on things like, oh, I was around this person, like, and I was doing this, and, like, I was around this person, and then I was talking about this, but then I doubted myself here, and it's a lot of, like, meditation, just self-work, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. And it could also just be you, too.
Oh, 100%.
Because, like, a lot of, like, if you sense
your
that a lot
karmic
of
debts
people...
and your journey.
Yeah. Because, like, the thing is that, like, another thing, too, is that kind of, like, an indicator that you're an energy vampire, is that if a lot of people are ghosting you and they're not really giving you reasons, is because, like, if you see a lot of people, like, distancing themselves from you,
Mm-hmm.
it's probably because that you're very unbearable to be around, and people don't really want to be around you.
Yeah.
So,
There's been times when, like, you know, you're going through some stuff and you don't even realize that, like, your energy is just so low that, like, everything you're doing you're complaining about, or, like, everything you're doing you're just kind of like, ugh, I don't want to, and then you just have this pessimistic attitude about everything. You're always just like, why is my life this, why is my life that, and you start falling into that lower energy that without it you even realizing, because your life's just falling apart around you, and you're just finding, like, you're in an imbalance, so you're trying to find the balance and you're just busy struggling with that you don't even realize that every person that you come in contact with you're spreading all that with.
yeah.
And that you're sucking their good energy around, and it's like, why are you always craving somebody else? Like, why are you always, like, yearning for them? Like, why are you always kind of, like, wanting to be around friends and, like, having a second opinion and, like, kind of codependent issues? It's because now it's, like, you're trying to find that energy elsewhere besides within yourself.
Mm.
And I'm having a crazy, like, feeling in my chest while saying that. That's nuts.
Yeah.
My soul.
Yeah, it's like if you always want to be constantly surrounded by people, it's because your energy's not coming from within. It's because you're siphoning energies off of a bunch of other people so you can feel safe and...
Yeah, and that's the
shit like
thing.
that.
Sometimes when your life is falling apart, just remind yourself, like, I was talking to even James when I've had my moments of, like, when I'm feeling down, like, you know, you sometimes just need another person to remind you, like, you're safe. Like, you know, like, you're safe, you're okay, like, no matter how crazy life is getting, like, you got this, like, you know, like, and then remind yourself what you're grateful of. Like, you know, like, tell yourself, like, that.
It's funny, this is like a major shout out to James.
Because James has been a huge part of, like, my personal spiritual journey.
No,
like,
yeah, me too, literally, like...
And that he is a beautiful light that deserves to be recognized on this planet. Like, he really is, and I send many blessings and much protection his way.
Yeah. He will be on the podcast too, so...
If you want James.
If you want James.
Comment below.
Comment below if you want James.
He's gonna hate us. He won't hate us. He'll just be like, these crazy cats.
Yeah. My crazy people.
Oh my god. That's so funny, though.
That's so funny. That whole group, honestly, is the best. Multi-dimensional healing. Oh yeah, we are also multi-dimensional healers in training, by the way, if y'all didn't know. So, pretty soon, we'll be able to be doing some work.
Yeah, if you guys want a tarot reading, I can give you guys a tarot reading. If you guys just want me to run a meditation, let me know. I'll run meditations on my account. Just reach out. I'd be more than happy to. Even if you just want to ask me questions, like if you need anything, like, I'm here.
Yeah.
I provide help and services because that is my work on this planet. So whatever you need, at your service. Spiritually.
Spiritually. Yeah. I only do tarot readings for friends, though, at this moment. Soon I will be opening myself up to the world.
Yeah, I'll, like, do it over FaceTime or through Insta DMs, depending on which reading you're getting. That's when you can just contact me for more information if you're interested.
Yeah.
But, yeah, spirit calls. Spirit awaits.
Yes.
I've been planning on also making some YouTube videos on, like, my manifestation. So if you want more, like, information on how I manifest and, like, what works I do, stay tuned.
Stay tuned, yeah.
Stay tuned. Yeah, even if you want to ask some questions about that, my DMs are open, so.
Yes. Do you want to plug in your Instagram?
Yeah, my Instagram is at ElizabethXOXO4, because I give lots of hugs and kisses, full of all the unconditional love. But I'm protected, so
Yeah.
My gatekeeper has got my back.
Yeah, our gatekeeper angels will fuck you up.
My bodyguards.
Yeah.
So the other day I lost my pill, and I couldn't find it. It was in the crevice of my car, and I asked St. Anthony for help, and all of a sudden, like, I just waited a couple minutes, and I was like, alright, I just won't look for it just yet. I won't move around a lot. I like, moved out of my car slowly, like, put away whatever I needed to put away, went back to my car, and then I looked, and it was in the most obvious place. And I was like, I swore I looked there before.
Yeah, it's like he, like, found it, and he, like, put it right there. He's like, yeah, here you go.
Because I knew that I would not be able to find that, like, just myself. Like, I was just like, alright, like, St. Anthony, you need to help me. And I swore it was, like, right by my feet. I was like, that was the first place I looked. Like, there was
like,
no way that was there. Like, it was crazy. And that also happened years ago when I was looking for my glasses. It was, like, in the center console. And I was like, where's my glasses? Where are my glasses? And I'm, like, looking around. And then, like, my dad said a prayer to St. Anthony. And then all of a sudden, like, he found it in the glasses compartment. And I was like...
So, oh, shit.
My dad was the one that taught me to look for St. Anthony. He's like, if you need help to look for something, like, ask him.
Should we use this as a segue for angels and stuff like that?
Angels. Okay. Yes. So, angels. Angels are my cheer squad.
Yeah, literally, like, if you ever need, like, guidance and protection and stuff like that, always ask your guardian angels or, like, any angel in general.
If you don't necessarily believe in angels, like, they're guides. Like, you know,
like, just ask, like, your guides, higher guides. Like, everything is subjective. Pretty much you could use, like, instead of, like, God, you could just say, like, the universe or, like, any energy being.
If you think about all the religions, actually, they're all just stories about the same one thing. That's why I also think it's ridiculous that we had that whole religious war, but that's just another story and another opinion that I have that does not need to be addressed even more than I already address it. But, like...
Yeah, I believe in omnism, which is all religions are pretty much
the same.
One key to one
But they're little stories.
thing.
So it's like, okay, like, this is their belief in faith, but their story on it, and their version of it, and then, like, there's other versions of it, and you just could look at them, like, in whatever way you want to look at them. Like, it's more like read the books and the authors and the people who are writing it and look into their life and their own spiritual journeys to really have an understanding on where that came from. Like, because it all just came from their own personal experiences. Like, how do you think people came up with, like, little mythological like stories and these characters? And it's from meditation and, like, you know, dreams and things that these people personally experience, but just dramatized into, like,
into like a story. It's like that's what the beauty of writing is. It's like taking the main purpose of shit that happens in life and just making it a very entertaining story to pretty much spread the knowledge.
And that's why it's so cool to just look at it from such an open perspective, because, like, yeah, like, guides, angels, like, whatever you call them, like, it's still a thing. It's still a vibration to look up to. It's still something that you could ask for help. And that's something that's comforting because you're not alone. And you have, like, you know, yourself and your faith and something to believe in and guides to ask that will cheer you on even when you're at your lowest and nobody around you or exterior, like, is there for you. At least you have them and you have that, and it does show itself in a way that, like, can help you. Like, they give you signs and they give you little tools and they give you, you know, like, this is stuff that I've actually experienced. Like, this isn't something that, like, that it's so hard to believe right at the surface, but, like, it exists. Like, and that's the beauty of it all. There's no way I would have gotten my dog for free. Like, she's a purebred husky, and it's like, I hate to bring
Lily is like,
always back to Kiki, but she's an angel. She literally, like, how do you get a purebred husky for free just by, like, asking? Like, you know, like, and just manifesting it, basically. And it's kind of like, that's ridiculous. Like, there's no way I would have gotten that without asking. Or, like, just
Exactly.
believing in the universe or something. Like, free, purebred huskies aren't, like, a thing. Like, that are just given away. Like,
Yeah, it's like, that shit's a lot of fucking money.
like, randomly. No, exactly. And it's like... And she's, like, the perfect dog. That's why I'm like, oh, my God. Like, what? Like, what? Like...
It's like, how?
So, yeah,
What did I
like,
do
after
to
this
deserve
podcast,
this?
go manifest a dog.
Yeah, live
Or
on
a
the field.
cat. And if you're allergic, just hypoallergenic, you know?
Yeah. Like me.
Shout out to Matt.
Yeah.
Be the hairless cat.
I want a Sphinx cat.
What's
That'd
that?
be dope.
Oh, yeah.
The hairless cats.
Hairless cats. How did I know? What? That's nuts. That's nuts. Back to what I was saying about, like, illnesses and forming physically in your body and how they might have an emotional
Oh yeah, I don't
attachment.
think that we like really like
We didn't dive
finished up. Yeah.
deep into that, but, like, I got off, you know, we've been just going wild in this. We've been rambling just back and forth, no structure. But, so, basically, what I was saying is that, let's say you experience, like, a heart attack, or you experience just, like, something like that means that you might have a blockage in your heart chakra, and then, like, so the reason that energy is blocked, you caused yourself to have, like, a heart attack, basically, because you didn't get to fix that inner wound that you never got to fix. So at the end of the day, it's kind of like, okay, like, I'm experiencing this sort of pain, or my stomach pain. It's like, okay, you're experiencing stomach pain. Maybe that's solar plex related or sacral chakra related.
Yeah, it's like if you have foot problems, you have a grounding issue.
Yeah, if you have, like, you know, a hand problem, you're having control issues. Like, you know, like, these migraines, you're having third eye things. Like,
Or crown chakra.
And it's kind of like, these things are very good to maybe just think about when you're experiencing these sort of symptoms.
Yeah, it's like, what am I not processing?
Yeah, what am I not
What am
fully,
I-
like, feeding energy and, like, you know,
Yeah, because
chakras go...
I was right about to say your chakras are like energy, emotion, and stuff
yeah,
like that.
and they go clockwise, so it's kind of like if they're going clockwise, that means that it's bringing the energy in, but once they, like, are blocked and they're, like, turning around and going counterclockwise, they're spewing the energy out of you, so your life source energy is just leaving you right off the bat, when honestly it should be just coming in and feeding you more than, and energizing you rather than depleting yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. Fun.
Fun. Chakras.
Chakra science. That's something that helps me a lot, because then I'll sit there and actually meditate, and I'll actually move my, like, I'll envision the energy going counterclockwise to just get myself back on track.
Yeah, I say a lot of mantras pretty much to, like, kind of, like, clear out my chakra system. Like, I do it every morning. Like, I usually just, like, put my hands on my knees, and that's a form of personal power and just, like, power in general. And then I just go in the lotus position, which is, like, Indian style. Put my hands on my knees, and then I just say my mantras with each chakra. It's like Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Aum, and Ang. And it's pretty much just going up the chakra system, like the root, sacral, solar plexus, heart, throat, third eye, and crown. And it pretty much just helps you, like, clear out all of them and just, like, push the energy up and out.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's good to do that. Plus also yoga.
Yoga's good.
I definitely recommend stretching and yoga and just, like, breathing, and when you feel like a spot that's, like, tight in you, just, like, roll it out, or just, like, stretch it out a little, like, really focus on it. Maybe put your hand on it, focus, move it around, like, get some energy flowing through those spots, because, like, the more you do that, like, the healthier your body will be, the less tight, the more loose you'll be to flow, and, like, you won't be so rigid. And
Yeah, literally dancing and just, like, kind of, like, doing little, like
even,
things
that's
helps
why
gets the energy going.
Yeah, that's why yoga's great, because you could just kind of, like, move through it, and also, like you said, dancing and music, like, just let it flow throughout your whole body.
And walking
like,
around
there's
barefoot,
muscles,
too.
There's muscles that we have that, like, honestly, we don't focus on at all, and it's crazy. You won't even know the muscles that we have. Like, it's just like, oh, crap, that, I feel that now, like, whoa, didn't even know there was a muscle there. Like, you know, like
It's like, what the fuck?
And then, like, it's crazy because, like, you'll finally start adding some strength to this muscle you never knew you had before, and it's like, oh, wow, like, I could walk better, or I could, like, you know, it doesn't hurt when I do this, or, like, it's the weirdest thing, like, it's like, oh, shit.
You're like, whoa.
I remember I
Life's different now.
I started doing, like, abs and, like, stretching a certain part of my abs before, and it's like, I didn't even know I had a muscle in that part of my stomach before. Like, I was like, what? There's a double muscle there? Like,
yeah, my ab, it's forming.
but it's like, I didn't even know one would end up there, like, or that would make me doing this easier, or, like, you know, like, it's the craziest thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Health is wealth.
Yeah, literally. Health is, like, the most important thing for your body and just your life in general.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if you're not taking care of your body, that definitely internally messes with you as well.
Yeah.
It's like if you think that eating McDonald's all day and sitting around and not really, like,
Watch
doing
Super Size
anything.
Me. Trust me, that won't work.
Yeah, that shit was disgusting.
I watched that probably, like,
Yeah, it's like if
every
you're not
year
moving,
for the, like, 5 years
you
in
can-
school, because every health teacher I had would just show me that. I was like, I get it, no McDonald's.
Yeah, it's just like, shit, how many times are you gonna tell me?
I was like, I get it. I'm sorry, I had McDonald's fries last night.
I mean, like,
get
every
it.
once in a while it's not bad, but, like...
I didn't have it last night, but, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, they definitely drill it into your head.
Yeah, it's like...
Isn't
all
it
these
crazy
fast
that
food
health-
places, they're not good for you. Like, they have all this sodium, all these sugars, all this, like, unnatural foods that our body doesn't know how to process.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of, like, disrupts our whole entire, like, systems.
Yeah.
And if you keep... It's like clocking your body every time. It's like your body doesn't know how to process it, so it just stops. And then if you keep putting more into it, your body's just gonna, like, shut down.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. That's why you gotta eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, because they have those enzymes that help break down foods and all that stuff.
The natural antioxidants.
Yeah.
Oh,
Acai
jeez.
bowls, those are lit as fuck.
Yeah, they don't provide, like, much protein or anything, but a bunch of natural sugars.
Yeah. I mean, you can add protein powders and shit like that into it.
Yeah, 100% if you make your own.
I mean, they have options there.
I think
like,
they
add-
do too.
But it depends on what place that you go to, because a lot of places don't have
Yeah.
specific things, but you gotta do your research.
Exactly. Alrighty, I think that's it for this podcast. If you guys want me back, I mean, like, you comment below.
Yeah, literally, you'll definitely come back. Like, this is not like a one and done type thing. It's like I want reoccurring guests and all that stuff.
I understand.
So yeah, anything else?
I think that's it for today. We went over a lot.
Yeah,
that's
we did.
for sure.
All right, yeah, you could replug your Instagram or anything else that you want to plug in.
My Instagram is at ElizabethXOXO4. You can follow me on there, and anything that usually I promote or, you know, do, I just will be right on there. So that's probably the best bet to contact me. I mean, if you need my email, that's Elizabeth.
I don't think you need to put your email, because a lot of people will just fucking, like, take it upon
kidding.
themselves to...
I was kidding. Instagram's probably the best bet. I do have a Facebook, but I'm barely on there, so not really worth it. If there's anything important going on there, I'll definitely let you know through Instagram. So yeah, so Elizabeth XOXO4. That's where you can reach me. Yeah.
Yeah, hit her up for tarot readings and other readings.
And
whatnot.
I just do a lot of spiritual services, so if you're interested in anything for help, just contact me and I'll be more than happy to help you.
Yeah, hit her up. She's usually my go-to person when I need answers.
When she
Either her or
breaks down.
James or was one of my other friends. But yeah.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. I've never done a podcast before. This is a first. So
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Your
Oh yeah, so thank you. This has been a fun experience. I've appreciated being on here talking about a lot of spiritual shoots.
Yes, it has been fun. Thank you to all of our angels and other guys that have been present with us and
Yes,
guiding us during
thank-
this meditation with during this podcast.
Thank
But,
you for
thank
you know, listening.
Yes, thank you for being on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Thank
Namaste.
you. Namaste.
But yeah, this concludes this podcast. Follow us at WOA Podcast. You can also follow me on Instagram.
The Wrath of Aquarius.
Yeah, Wrath of Aquarius.
I'm gonna do a Pierce the Veil cover right now. So I had a hair disaster this week. Every great hairdresser has a great hair disaster story, and I finally reached that point in my life. So, you know.
Yeah, she's also a hair.
I'm studying cosmetology, so that's that. But yeah, so at the end of the day, it's very punky looking. So I'm in honor of my punky, disastrous hair. I'm going back to emo days and looking at all the Pierce the Veil things, and I'm gonna cover some of it. So stay tuned.
Yeah, so check out those covers that are gonna come out. But yeah, so follow the podcast at WOA Podcast on Instagram, and also my Instagram at Agni Veda. I have a lot of spiritual content that I usually post. Please like, repost, and comment below of other topics that you want us to cover or go deeper into.
Whoop whoop.
But yeah.
Whoop whoop.
Yeah, woo woo.
Whoop whoop. Do it.
Yeah, do it. What else? I don't know.
Peace on the streets, son.
Yeah, look out for this podcast that it's coming out on Saturday, because this is a guest podcast. And also be on the lookout for Mondays, which is the solo podcast, and Wednesday, which is all three of us, me, John, and Will, the boys, straight bowling, straight giving us your facts. But, yeah, so.
Dope.
This is us signing off.
Sending blessings everyone's way.
Sending blessings to you all. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day.
Yeah. Stay in tune with yourself. Love yourself. Peace out.
Yep. On the other side of fear is bliss.
Peace.
Peace.